Omega Point by Bruce Stewart, with Dinsdale Landon and Sidney Taffler. Omega Point.
Do you hear, Julie?
That sound?
That one, aye.
What's so special about it?
Just like last night. Have you got it?
It's on tape, yes.
The time?
1930. But Archie...
1930, 100 hours, just like last night again. By God, there's a pattern here somewhere. There's got to be. Lord knows what it is, Julie. What can it mean?
Now, wait. Decompress, calm down. The last heart tremor you brought on gave me palpitations, Archie. I'm trained as a radar technician, not a blessed SRN. I can't be expected
Don't you believe everything you hear about my heart, young woman? It's kept me at my dials and switches since before the war. And it'll do the same again, maybe, if people won't keep telling me it's not up to its job. Oh, playback.
Playback.
There. Now, what is it?
We're absolutely convinced it's something, are we?
It's got a definite character.
Good or bad?
Oh, can't you hear anything?
Hold on. I'll loop the tape so we can get a continuous run.
You get an ear for things. After 5 years running the monitoring section of a place like Tor Sands, you get an ear for every damn sound the complex can come up with. Murmurs from the nuclear furnace, computer functions, even seabirds crashing into the perimeter fence. But this is outside the range.
Maybe it's a rumble from Whitehall. We seem to be on our way to the limbo of forgotten things, hadn't you heard? On the 6 o'clock news, it said the Atomic Energy Authority had finally decided not to go ahead with its programme for further fast-reactor nuclear power stations like Tor Sands, so that leaves us orphaned.
Oh, they don't know where they're putting their arms and their legs, those fellows in London. One day they'll choke on their own contortions.
We've still got the ozone, the noble cliffs by night, I suppose. We can hardly complain. Right, all looped up.
No, it's not radioactive response. No, nothing of that sort. I never heard simple interference with a structure like it before.
Gremlins? The little people?
Is Harry Claudius around tonight, do you know?
Harry? Should be in about 2100. He's taken the night shift this week to help solve his problem in logistics, he says.
What problem in logistics?
Well, once the new fail-safe devices are locked into the vigilance system after 6 p.m., is he being employed to protect the computer, or is the computer working to protect him?
One day Harry Claudius will kid himself clean out of his job here. He's too comic by half for a security chief. But listen to it, Julie. Now just listen. Did you ever hear anything just the same before?
I'm beginning to see what you mean about it having a character.
The exact same sound picked up at the exact same hour last night. Now, what does it mean? What?
I don't feel myself at all. Come to that, I don't feel anyone else either. What strange insight indeed. Denied to Plato, Aquinas, and Arthur Koestler lies before Harry Claudius tonight, I wonder.
Attention. Attention. Gate 5 vigilance. You have tripped a security circuit.
My old adversary, the Tor Sands nuclear power station computer. Of course, they've switched you over to surveillance, haven't they? The electronic watchdog, wakeful while mere flesh and blood sleeps.
Voice imprint and identity procedure. Commence.
Yes, nothing to worry about here, old tiger at the gates. Merely Otis P. Phillimore, the travelling dentist, come to make an impression. Lower the drawbridge.
Voice imprint and identity procedure. Imperative comments.
Oh, didn't I oblige? Well, Fergus McMortlack, the Scots whisky adulterer. How about that, I didn't want to admit it at first, but as you appreciate, either I get to the decanters before the staff does, or they find out what they've been missing all these years. And what happens to the bar profits then, Things. 2, 3, 4.
Voice imprint inconclusive. Identity uncertain.
Well, you've got a problem, O contrivance. Hey-ho for Artifact's lip. Now, shall I try Occam's razor on you just to screw things up with a vengeance? Or do you already feel that subtle kinship, with a chameleon on a tartan blanket?
Emergency.
Ah, flummoxed, quite.
Priority operations. Emergency procedure.
It's amazing, isn't it? 100,000 quid's worth of precision equipment, but you can upset its apple cart as easily as if it were a 2-bob watch.
Hey! What's going on there? What's happening?
As I live and breathe, Dr. Rashley. Now, don't tell me you being excluded from the joy of the Lord, too.
I was taking a turn on the cliffs. What's gone wrong, for goodness sake?
For the computer's taken a turn. Rather a nasty one, by the signs.
Oh. Was it your doing?
Mine? Oh, for shame. When you know I subscribe regularly to Friends of Technology and can hardly pass an abandoned vacuum cleaner without shedding coke.
Shut up, Claudius. I know you delight in messing up the computer's operations whenever you get the chance. It's childish behavior and moreover... Oh! Intercept procedure. Dr. Charles Rashley, voice imprint BY444. Abort emergency. Abort.
Voice imprint positive. Identity positive. Abort.
Remarkable. I swear it understands every word you say.
The computer is programmed to receive intercept procedures from me, naturally. What else? Ultimately, I'm responsible for its operation.
You mean you hamstring the computer so the computer can hamstring everyone else? Seems like a waste of time all round. Look, can't we just agree not to tread on each other's toes or poke curious fingers in each other's pies?
Now, listen to me, Claudius. I've put a lot of time and thought into programming the computer here, whether you appreciate it or not. This new voice imprint procedure we've installed is a major advance in cybernetics. Banks and financial institutions generally in the United States are putting it in as a regular thing. It provides a more reliable identity check even than fingerprints. As security chief, you should rejoice in that.
Believe me or believe me not, Doctor, as security chief, I hardly even rejoice to see a new dawn anymore.
I'm sorry?
Do you know what it's like to wake up in the morning and ask yourself, is there any real point in getting out of bed? Or to put that another way, where does a poor robin fly when the south wind blows northerly?
Oh, for God.
You and your marvellous machine are doing me out of relevance, Dr. Rashley. Now, that's a critical situation. Like even the homeliest of girls, I need to be needed.
You know, Claudius, it sometimes occurs to me you're against computers as such. You look on them as rivals to mankind, or some such foolishness, and that's bunkum, superstition. A computer can only do what a man instructs it to do.
Odd how it doesn't console me to hear you say that. Still, around Tor Sands, one learns to live with oddity after a time.
Oh, really? In what way?
Why, it's palpable, isn't it? The fuzziness round the edges, the sense of abreaction, as though over the gates there ought to be inscribed, "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here." Oh, well, perhaps it'll change once we've got the broker's men in.
Oh, broker's men? Why do you have to reduce everything to absurdity? The director, Dr. Mary Bone, and I have known for some months now that the fast reactor program probably wouldn't be going ahead, but none of that will affect Tor Sands. Tor Sands will continue as usual.
Speaking of gates, incidentally, how do we get this one open under the circumstances? Or are we condemned to stay outside all night for having been cheeky?
Activate the security circuit and get computer response. Then... One moment. That's the gate phone. Gate 5. Rashley speaking.
Rashley,
Dr. Cherney.
What happened? What went wrong? An emergency. Was it intruders?
What's up?
It's the director, and he's in a state. Well, as it happens, sir...
Answer me. Did someone try to break in? I've checked with Dr. Bone. All operations are normal in the nuclear furnace, so it must be the perimeter.
Yes, well, it was. Here at Gate 5, but you see the
Who tried to break in? Who? Presley, there mustn't be any trouble. Not at this time.
Well, perhaps. You'd better have a word with Mr. Claudius, Director.
What? No, wait a minute.
Claudius? Claudius is there.
Good evening, Dr. Cherney. Forgive me for trying your patience, but if you like, you can drop over and try mine sometime.
Claudius, this is your doing. You started that emergency.
Well, to consider those queries systematically...
Say it, the truth. You know I can fire you, throw you out of Torsans.
Yeah, well, of course, but...
Don't play games with me. I must have cooperation from my staff. Ever since I came back from the United States, I felt there were forces working against me.
Yeah, you're not kidding, Ashley. He is in a state. A bad one.
I know.
Forces causing trouble. I don't want any trouble. Not now. Everything must go smoothly now.
Odder and odder.
Please. Is it so much to ask? I want calm to do my work. The work of science. You don't know how difficult it is. I am committed to the work of science. All my life it has been like that. No trouble anymore. There's been enough trouble. Just cooperation, help and support.
Well, Archie, what's the beat?
Harry, Lord, man, you took your time, didn't you?
Well, where's the fire? Your message just said look in after I'd clocked on.
Look in urgently.
Harry. No, disappointed again. The day is going to dawn when you'll walk into this room and actually notice me before I have to call attention to my presence. I feel convinced of it.
Yes, I live in that faith too, Julie. But let's not forget Hindus, Muslims and Taoists live in quite other faiths. So now we're going to argue about religion. After all, we haven't been to each other. Can you justify that?
Oh, look, give it away, can't you? Even if it was funny, I still wouldn't like it.
Who's being funny? I made an honest mistake. I was glancing at the Geiger counter for a reading as I came in, so naturally I missed her. I mean, she does her hair the same way.
Meet me on the beach at midnight. I'll bring my youthful passion, you bring the thermos.
I'll have to get it back from my ex-wife first. When she finally got her settlement through, it even included some things we never possessed. I sometimes wonder if she left me.
Yes. Now you're not being funny, all right.
Oh, shut up and listen. Give us a bit more volume on this, Julie.
Oh, right.
So, Harry, what do you think?
Think of what?
That sound.
Well, I don't know. Well, what is it? Something particular?
I can't tell you that.
What's the source?
I can't tell you that either. I picked it off the air at 19:30 last night, and at the exact same time again tonight.
The exact same sound?
Yeah, as far as I can tell.
Well, what interested you in it?
There have been others, I think. Different times over the last few months. I probably just began to notice.
Well, what are you calling it? Something that needn't bother us? A curiosity or a security matter?
You decide.
Could be a directional signal, you know. Radio hands.
Funny kind of directional signal. It goes by in a 3-second optimum. You'd have to be an acoustic genius to pick it up.
Yes, that's a thought. Now, can we slow it down a bit, Julie?
Of course.
Well, what good will slow you down to?
Wait and see. The slowest run possible.
Right.
Yes. A complex pattern. Not just interference, Archie.
No.
It sounds almost as though...
Yes, Julie?
Oh, I don't know. But as though it were meant to be like that.
Or even slower. Yes. Now, hold on.
Why did you do that?
Archie, do you by any chance remember in the last days of the war, the French underground started sending out signals the Germans couldn't make head or tail of?
I vaguely remember something. What?
Well, it was a 9 days wonder while it lasted. Now, what the French had done, in fact, was to take a recorded message and speed it up until it could be transmitted as a bleep. On the receiving end, it was then necessary to catch the bleep and slow it down again to understand the message. But the Germans never woke up to that.
Oh, wait a bit. You mean...
Yeah, it was a viable technique. It fooled a lot of the people a lot of the time.
But, Harry, that's cloak and dagger stuff.
Oh, yeah. I suppose it is.
Oh, now, look, are you seriously suggesting...
I'm suggesting nothing, Archie. I'm merely remarking on the fact, wondering if it may be, relevant.
Oh, what does that mean?
Now, what do we do here most of our lives, Play nursemaid to a new type nuclear reactor in case it should leak, blow up or be sabotaged, and second fiddle to a computer that's programmed to do most of the security work for us. Is it any wonder we feel the need to take wild leaps in the dark from time to time? Now, we'll need 2 tape decks, Julie.
Right.
Oh, you're daft. If there's anything in what you say, it'll probably be some practical joke.
And what we have to do is to record from the master tape at its slowest run onto a second tape at its fastest speed.
Someone taking the mickey.
And then we slow that one down and record onto the third one in the same way. Right. Spool back. Slow down. Record again.
Those aren't words. That's never a voice. Ugh, you're chasing moonbeams. You could produce the same effect analysing bloody static, star echoes.
You want to pack it in, Archie? I know you've been on since 1400.
I'm all right. I just don't like wasting my time.
Well, this could still prove to be bloody static or to star echo. I'm the first to admit it. But you're the one who plucked it out of the ether. Maintaining it could be something else.
We've done 20 re-recordings so far, haven't we? Well, shouldn't we be getting something positive by now?
Now, back in the wartime, they didn't have such sophisticated equipment as we do today, Archie. Maybe 5, 10 re-recordings were all they could hope to handle and retain clarity. I mean, today it could be hundreds.
Oh, my God.
And, of course, even when they got the message out, they usually found it was in code.
Coffee up. Somebody give me a hand.
You're right there, Julie. Play it again, Sam.
Oh, shut up.
One lump or 2.
None. I gave it up for Lint.
Together with affability, approachability, and the pretense of togetherness.
Again?
It'll do for starters. Forget it. Did I hear Archie getting cross just now?
Well, you know Archie. When he's involved, he's grumpy.
He shouldn't get tired.
And why should I forget it anyway? Now, see here, young woman. If you've some criticism to make of me, type it out in triplicate and address it to my lawyers. Having addressed it to my lawyers, throw it in the waste paper basket and ring in the council to ask why the dustmen haven't been. And after that, you may go. I may go, too.
Harry, you love to kid, don't you? But when you kid, you're rattling the chips on your shoulder. I've come to recognise the syndrome. Your divorce was how long ago?
That damn divorce. I didn't come here to...
It's a constant standard of reference, isn't it? We always seem to be coming back to it somehow or other. Tonight again. Was it really such an earth-shattering experience for you? Was she such a bitch? Are you by any chance carrying a torch?
You ask questions like there was a shortage.
I might as well be interested for all the good not giving a damn does.
Ah, I see. You've capitulated at last. Come with me to the Casbah. Or perhaps on balance, it might be better to wait till the Casbah comes to us. I mean, the hygiene's dreadful down there tonight. They all laughed at Louis Pasteur. Well, his material was good.
Stop it.
But,
I just want to know what makes you tick. 10 months I've been at Tor Sands and you're still an enigma to me. Sometimes you just seem a square peg in a round hole.
Yes, but that's my Serbo-Croat accent. Yeah. But I've had it surgically removed, you know. Give the scars a chance to heal,
What's a
and
man
then...
like you doing in security work? Why would you...
well. No, don't stop there. I mean, it's worse than a Flash Gordon fade-out.
I don't know. Nobody knows. Anything but this, anyway. You've nothing in common with Tor Sands. You hate the place, it's obvious, and everything it stands for.
Relevance, again. Yes, it's a recurring theme. Security work. It was just something I drifted into, Julie. I was at Anglesey on the old Magnox station, then got into the fast reactor program, and so to Tor Sands. I can't give you any deeper explanation. It seemed as sensible at the time as making a fortune or composing the Hallelujah Chorus. Now, as for my divorce...
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to ask the information department about that.
Information department? What's the information department?
I regret I'm not permitted to pass on that intelligence. You'll have to inquire from the...
Yes, I should have seen it coming. Why do I bother?
Harry, listen to this.
What is it, Archie?
Come and listen, man. No, it's still all just noises, in my view, meaningless sounds. I can't discern any damn code or anything in it. But there's something very peculiar has just emerged.
Which is?
Now, listen to this. It's the first sound on the tape, remember?
The first. didn't hear anything.
Harry? I'm not sure. Now, hit me again. Yes. It's quite clear. Of course. It's saying Omega Point.
Omega Point?
Omega Point.
Attention. Attention. You have tripped a security circuit.
Oh, heavens to Betsy, old mindless machine. Are you everywhere? Do you move in the bowels of the torp and like sewage?
Voice imprint and identity procedure. Commence.
Charlie Faggin, the ashtray cleaner, knocking on Dr. Cherney's door to see if he's taken up smoking again. What with the government warning printed on the side of every packet and the increased price of fuel for lighters, I'm becoming redundant.
Voice print inconclusive. Identity uncertain.
Mr. Claudius.
Ah.
You. Yes, I suppose I might have known.
Why, Dr. Bone?
Emergency procedure.
Is it him? Is it Claudius?
Yes, Director, as you might expect.
Emergency.
Intercept procedure. Dr. Marybone, voice imprint, AX222. Abort emergency. Abort.
Voice imprint positive. Identity positive. Abort.
He's mad. Claudius is a crazy man.
Mr. Claudius, it would really make life so much easier for everybody at Tor Sands if you could just get it through your head that the computer is not a toy invented for your amusement.
Oh, bless me, Doctor. I don't think anything as insidious as that. I stand in awe of its ever-expanding capabilities, in fact. I mean, I notice, for instance, it does seems programmed to receive and intercept procedures from you, as well as from Dr. Rushley.
What's surprising about that? The nuclear furnace is my exclusive concern. I need direct control.
You keep late hours, too. Getting on for 2200, and you're still minding the shop. I didn't really expect to find the director's office on surveillance, that's all. I mean, is there something wrong?
Of course not. Why should you ask a thing like that? The director and I were simply engaged in private conversation.
What does Claudius want? What is he there for?
Oh, I need a word, Director. Polyadelphus.
What?
Oh, well, that'll do for the word. It's Greek. You should brush up on your Greek, Dr. Cherney.
Director, should I...
Oh, please. I'm busy.
Tell you what, I'll get the Greek. You brush up on him.
I see. Then you say this signal or whatever it is you picked up contains a distinct pattern of sounds once it's slowed down. And even these may be coded.
No, well, that's just a guess at the moment.
Only one of them makes sense of any sort, however. And this is the first one in a series which is...
Omega Point.
Omega Point, exactly. Yes.
So, what do we do now? Talk about the chances of a dollar revaluation in the autumn.
I'm not completely sure why you're bothering the director with this, Mr. Claudius.
Not sure, Dr. Bone. Now, look. A chance radio signal with an identifiable sound pattern once it's slowed down is remarkable enough. But that same signal with the coinage Omega Point on it...
What is so special about Omega Point?
Special?
Yes. Why do you keep harping on Omega Point? What is there to make of an issue of in that?
Well, the Omega Point conference last year.
Louisville, Kentucky, December 5th to the 12th.
Which
Quite.
I seem to remember the director attended.
Attended? I was there for a few early sessions, nothing more. I was due in Boston the same week. I couldn't stay.
Well, didn't it all break up in confusion or something?
Break up in confusion? What are you talking about, Claudius? What have you come here to say to me? Is it an exact accusation?
Accusation? What kind of accusation? Director, I'm supposed to be security chief at Tor Sands, and you're in charge of the whole box and dice. And I have to report to you about this, for God's sake.
Yet it may be meaningless, utterly meaningless.
Or it may warrant a full-scale inquiry, a royal commission, or the Archbishop of Canterbury to cast out the devils. I mean, we just can't ignore it anyway. I mean, why should you want to?
I don't! As far as Omega Point is concerned, I decide... You don't understand. The Omega Point conference was a great failure, yes. There was no real agreement. People went home disappointed.
I think all of us felt a bit let down, Mr. Claudius.
All of us?
Well, the scientific establishment generally. Omega Point. A brave idea. For a long time before the conference, you see, leading world scientists of all disciplines had begun to feel that an end point, an Omega point, was fast approaching. With his belligerence, greed, and exploitation of the environment, man was encompassing his own destruction. Concerted scientific action could still possibly save him. So it was decided to call an international conference to settle what that action should be. But unhappily at Louisville, no true agreement ensued.
Which represents a victory for the workers over the management. I mean, properly looked at.
I'm sorry?
You know, I forget who it was who said that the great achievement of the 20th century was that the laboratory had finally overthrown the Kirk. Ah, but he was a fool, wasn't he? The laboratory has simply taken over everything that made the Kirk so well worth putting down. The holier-than-thou attitudes, the arrogance, the paternalism.
Don't you agree that at this point in time, man really needs a little assistance in not destroying himself?
Yet wasn't it the scientists gave him the instruments of destruction in the first place? The bomb, industrialization, assorted forms of fallout?
No. If it weren't for science, man would still be an ignoramus, cringing in a cave, afraid of his own shadow. You know that perfectly well. Science hasn't failed man. Man has failed science.
In the beginning was the test tube. Fundamentalism again.
What?
Oh, if it gets back. You said it, Dr. Byrne.
Oh, please, what is this all about? I have work to do. Important work.
The work of science. Yes, it seems to be what we've been talking about. And it keeps you burning the midnight oil, too.
Thank you, Claudius. I'm grateful for your information about this signal or whatever it may turn out to be. I will consider the whole matter carefully and come to some conclusions.
And that's the end of a sentence?
Now go away, I'm busy.
Oh, but you can't leave it like that. By God, no, Dr. Cherney. If you won't treat this as a genuine security problem, I'll have to go over your head.
Get out! Cooperation is what I need. Help!
Please, Mr. Claudius, outside.
Don't you bully me, Doctor. My father's bigger than yours.
Why can't I get cooperation? It is so much to ask.
What about the Greek? Do I send him back to Papadopoulos' restaurant where I got him from?
Get out! Go!
What, without a Mazarka voucher?
I will not have this insolence.
You're a very cruel man, Mr. Claudius.
Oh?
The director's a little overtired at the moment. Now, surely that's obvious.
Shouldn't that read sick in translation?
No. There's simply been a lot of pressure. He's been working too hard. I have to see the nuclear furnace in a few minutes. Perhaps you'd better accompany me.
Ooh, is that a proposition?
There's something I must say to you.
It's my second tonight. How happy could I be with either, if both of you just went away?
Damn it, it's nonsense. Gibberish. It's got to be.
Archie, now drink this.
What is it?
Some hot soup. If you're going to sit over that tape deck half the night...
Oh, don't be bloody silly. I'm not an invalid.
You're putting a big strain on yourself, and I'm not even sure I know why.
Because I mean to show Harry Claudius he's a fool. A coded message sped up and then transmitted as a bleep. He's crazy. Apart from the Omega point at the start, which could be some kind of mad coincidence for all we know, there is nothing on that tape that would ever break down into sense. Just disassociated sounds.
It certainly seems so.
Disassociated sounds, aye. Hey. Oh. Though, wait a bit.
What is it?
Why, by the Lord in heaven, Julie, that couldn't be it, could it?
What? I don't understand what you're talking about.
Now, listen to me. I'm going to have to go along to the computer room for a while. Now, are there any technicians on just now? Do you know?
With the new fail-safe programming, we don't need night staff anymore.
All the better. Now, I'll work quicker alone, and it's certainly worth a try.
Look, Archie.
Now, I'm taking this working copy of the slow run with me. Are you staying on?
Yes, of course. But, Archie, what's happened? What do you want in the computer room?
Listen, call it a day if you're tired, Julie. I can carry on with Harry.
Tired? Me? Archie, I'm bothered in case you... And you haven't had the soup. Don't get perturbed, Archie. Nothing's worth that. Nothing.
The heart of Tor Sands. Its core, its purpose, its life. The nuclear furnace.
We're due for a discharge of radioactive ash at 22:15. The panel's just over here.
Yet I thought the computer looked after these purely mechanical operations these days.
I like to keep an eye on this one when I can. After all, the danger, if anything went wrong, is immense. As you may be aware, Mr. Claudius, radioactive ash is the most deadly substance known to man. It contains plutonium as an essential byproduct of fission, and exposure to as little as a 50th of a millionth of an ounce of that is fatal to human beings. Yes. Yes, the Geiger counter reading is tolerable.
Oh, I love the cool way you say it. What do you do if it's non-tolerable? Just drop dead?
There isn't the remotest possibility of anything more than a minor leak from the furnace. To permit exposure on any serious scale, the tampers would have to be lifted.
Now that's this mechanism here, controlling the doors, as it were.
Yes. And of course that never happens except when the furnace has been damped down and the radioactive ash removed. I'll just check the computer's readiness. Dr. Mary Bone, voice imprint AX222. Forward operation confirmation.
Voice imprint positive. Identity positive. Forward operations. Nuclear furnace discharge. All systems A-OK. Malfunction nil.
Now, I'll never cease to wonder. He can even reflect on his own functions, which used to be the exclusive prerogative of certain higher apes. Ashley's done a bland job on his baby, hasn't he? It's a wonder he managed in the circumstances, of course.
I'm sorry?
Well, it seems that for some months now, everyone has known that the fast reactor program was going to be scrapped, thus rendering Tor Sands the teensiest bit déjà vu. Yet it's precisely in these last 8 weeks or so that he's installed his fail-safe devices and extended the automated responses.
We didn't know the fast reactor program was going to be scrapped, Mr. Claudius. We merely suspected the government might behave as obtusely and insolently as governments always behave towards scientists when they make significant advances.
Insolently? Sister, Doctor, there's that old-time religion again.
Now, you listen to me.
Oh, it's what I came for. You had something to say to me, I believe.
Yes. Yes, of course. Mr. Claudius, the director is not sick, as you suggested a little while ago, but he is under a considerable strain just now. It's important to understand that.
So?
Well, if I were you, I wouldn't bother him about this signal business for the time being. Leave it for a few days. It would appear to have its mysterious aspects, I agree, but they can wait. You gain nothing by impatience.
Dr. Bone, what are you talking about, please? Why is the director under a strain, precisely? I mean, what is going on?
Nothing is going on. And you are an insufferable person to deal with. The trouble is, you don't belong here. You have no respect for science, you don't understand its work, and you don't understand us.
You know, Doctor, I never thought of it like that before.
Like what?
A them and us situation, in which, according to the old adage, us knows it, but them doesn't.
Harry, where on earth have you been?
Swan upping. Difficult this far from a river, though.
I've been trying to contact you all around the complex.
Which is precisely where I've been.
What?
After a rather esoteric little session with Dr. Bone down in the nuclear furnace, you know, that woman is trying to put me off inquiring any further into that signal we picked up.
Why?
God knows. Also, I've discovered the computer takeover of Tor Sands is now all but complete.
Look.
Well, it is. Creeping control of damn near every function this place is capable of. I've been and looked. Not only do we not need as much in the way of staff as we did previously, shortly human beings are going to be entirely redundant.
Oh, Harry.
Add to this the fact that the director is a raving maniac, and you get an in-depth profile of our happy, adjusted family group.
Stop it, will you?
Overtired, under a strain. I'll take vanilla. He was sticking straws in his hair the whole time I was talking to him. If I'd had a spare belfry, I could have stocked it with bats for the winter.
Oh, that may be Archie. He went along to the computer room a while ago.
Well, what did he do that for?
I don't know, but he was excited about something, and I was searching all over for you to tell you.
Hello, Archie?
Harry, you're back, are you? Oh, good, great.
What's cooking, for goodness sake?
Now listen to me. Now don't mess about. Get along here as fast as you can. The computer room. I've done it.
You've done what?
Solved the riddle. Broken the code. Oh, Harry, you were right. There is a code on that signal, and we should have seen it straight off.
Archie, now, look, calm down now.
Listen, any old communications man should. I had to rely on the computer to check it all out for me and make sure about the code, the message. Look, Harry, it's big stuff. It is cloak and dagger. You'd better believe it.
All right, yes, I'll be straight there. Now, ease it off, will you?
As for the key, the cipher, you'd never guess it. No, I only got there because...
Archie.
What is it?
Wait a minute. No. Oh, God, I can't. Harry, for God's sake.
Archie.
What's happened?
It's the work of a gang. He's been shoved into button B.
What? Oh, you creep. You have to wisecrack about everything. Look, give it to me. Give it to me. Archie, can you hear me? Answer me. Oh, what's happened? Oh, I should have gone with him. I shouldn't have left him alone.
What happened, Claudius? For the love of
Archie
my...
Chisholm had a heart condition, Dr. Ashley. He was pretty head up on the phone, as I told you. Then, when we got here to the computer room, well, he was lying on the floor, just over there, dead.
What was he doing in the computer room, anyway? This is the principal outlet. What did he want here?
You weren't about? I mean, anyone?
Oh, I was up in the recreation room. If that's of any importance, chatting with Dr. Bone.
Oh, then you're working all night, too. What are such industry is edifying, Doctor. If a trifle bewildering, when you consider there's a programmed automaton doing all the night work that could be regarded as necessary.
Claudius, these snide remarks about the computer are really getting a bit of a bore. Under the circumstances, don't you think that you
right
should...
now, I agree. We're concerned with just how poor Archie came to hand in his bucket and spade. The ignoble clunk as they slipped from his nerveless fingers echoes in the mind. He was working with the computer when he bought it. That much we know. Now, what do I suggest to the police? A cardiac arrest while reaching too energetically for a printout?
Police? Do police have to come in?
Oh, no, come on. Sudden death, Dr. Ashley. An obligation to report.
Yeah. I don't suppose it wouldn't be possible to scrub round all that for a little, a day, 2 days.
No, you two, Doctor. Now, look, what are we waiting for at Tor Sands, The last leaf to fall?
I beg your pardon.
Dr. Bone wanted me to delay things, too. Stop investigating that signal we picked up with Omega Point on it, of which, don't tell me you haven't heard.
Was that what your friend was working on with the computer when he died? An interpretation of that signal?
And if he was?
I'm not sure. Omega Point. Claudius, that's bad business.
Oh?
Well, at least one hears things one can't be sure, I suppose. It simply struck me as odd that when that conference in Louisville last December broke up in some disarray by all reports,
yes,
no statement was issued, nothing. And the records aren't available.
You tried to get them?
Oh, yes.
Why?
Well, I've been worried about the director's state of mind for some time, just as you are now. Well, he was at Louisville in December,
yes,
and the change in him dates from his return.
And something's on as a consequence? Something's happening here and now? I mean, is that what you're trying to say?
At the conference, it seems there was a central group of scientists who dominated affairs, an international, coordinated group, though we don't know precise names. Now, these men were responsible for most of the trouble that ensued because of their insistence on the notion that the only hope for the future of the world lay in the restructuring of man.
The restructuring of man?
Yes. Man is a faulty, imperfect being, you see. Unlike the dolphin, whom some call his superior, he is badly adapted to his environment and even works against it. His avarice and individualism bring him constantly to the edge of ruin. Well, the only way to deal effectively with all this is to change it. Fundamentally, man must be recreated.
I didn't know there was a hell of a lot of the original clay left lying about.
Well, the existing clay will do well enough. Biological and genetic engineering going hand in hand with planned cultural adjustment. Oh, yes. With an organized effort, the work could be got underway in a single generation.
But the people would never stand for it, for God's sake. I mean, even governments wouldn't see it as a ready-made vote catcher.
Ordinary people mightn't know. Governments mightn't be told.
Your group of scientists is as powerful as that.
Well, now, see here, Claudius, don't put words into my mouth. I'm only saying what I've heard.
Right.
And suggesting, you be careful.
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, if as I presume, you've made the appropriate arrangements about purchasing...
No, just wait a minute. You can't just open a can of beans like that and then just disappear slowly from the room.
It's always sage advice, don't you think? Precipitate action is generally bad action, and here and now, we surely don't want bad action.
Now, Dr. Rashley. Julie? Well, Julie. Now, what about that, Did you hear any of it? I mean, did it register?
Oh, please, Harry. Not yet. Not just yet.
Now, I'm being sworn off again. Told to pull my head in. Rashley's right about one thing, though. We certainly won't have police around here till we've found out what the hell's going on. I'll arrange it like that.
Archie's dead, Harry.
Oh, yeah, well, don't I know it? Which makes it a top priority for us now to discover how he cracked that code. It's our one advantage, Julie. We know the signal is a code, and we know it can be cracked.
Just leave it all for a while, can't you?
Yes, but how did he crack it, though? How? I mean, any old communications man should have spotted
don't
the
you
answer.
understand?
That's what he said.
Archie's gone, that's all that matters.
Yes, we won't hold that against him. When you've got to go, I mean, you've got to go.
Are you sick in the head or something?
Now, listen, Julie.
For God's sake, Harry! How could you say a thing like that? I thought Archie was your friend. I thought you loved him as I did.
Oh, love. Oh, let's keep love out of it. Love doesn't signify. Love is just the therapy against the pain in human affairs. Love is pulling the blanket up over your eyes so you won't have to live with a hangover.
Do you really believe things like that?
Oh, why not? They're more true than untrue. Oh, it's all a bit of a third-rate variety show when you boil it down, you know, Julie. The wise man learns early that it's better to throw the custard pies than to be hit in the bush by them.
This isn't about Archie at all. You're saying something about your divorce, aren't you?
Oh, again?
But it was an earth-shattering experience for you. She was a bitch, and all you can think to do as a result is slink back into your shell and lick your wounds till you sulk to death.
No. I mean, but what makes you say a thing like that?
Would they tell me any different in the information department?
You get that. Just you get this. You get it straight. My divorce was... Well, it wasn't any earth-shattering experience. No, it wasn't. I was just the opposite, really. A non-event, a great big zero. For she was no bitch. We just ran out of gas on a rather pointless journey together in the dark. And then she went off to hunt for a bus stop while I stayed with the car.
Why?
I don't know. At the time, nobody told me I'd have to answer questions afterwards.
Will you go on staying with the car still?
Oh, well, one of these days it could be morning, you know. Or, of course, the AA patrol could happen by.
Harry, it doesn't make sense.
Probably not. But then what does, Me feeling about as meaningful as a Coke in a rugby club around Tor Sands, for instance? I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Archie dying as he did, I mean, that is downright perverse.
What did you say?
Over there, you know, Julie, where Archie fell. There are some curious marks on the floor.
Marks? What kind of marks?
Well, I've developed a certain pedestrian flair for security work, despite an absence of true vocation. Scuff marks. Well, at one point, a heel jabbed down hard, I'd say, as though there could have been a struggle. No, there's nothing yet. Now, dead cool, Julie, dead cool. We're going to find out, as a priority, how Archie cracked that code. Right?
Of course, Harry. Yes. I understand. As a priority.
So, Julie, what permutation that time?
I can get you an exact figure if it's important. The computer does its own selecting and rejecting, but of course it only presents possible translations of the code. In real terms, we could have had thousands of permutations.
Now, in that last phone call, Archie said he had to rely on the computer, checking and making sure to make his breakthrough. Now, what did he mean by that exactly?
God knows. Maybe the computer put a bomb under him, set off spontaneous generation in the grey matter. Well, poor Archie may not have been any genius, but he certainly knew something about all this that we don't. Oh, I'd say that code doesn't answer to any cipher system known to man.
What time is it?
midnight.
You must be tired.
Don't start that again. Hold it. Here's another one.
Dutch. If anything, the soup seems to be getting thicker rather than thinner.
It is developing a personality, though.
Huh?
Well, the voice, wouldn't you say? If only it would talk sense, you could mistake it for an announcer on crew platform or a politician.
Can't help British Rail in England.
Harry, what if it's not meant to break down into English at all, but some other language, French, Russian?
Well, Archie didn't speak any foreign languages.
Talk sense, you could mistake it for an announcer on crew platform or a politician.
Can't help British Rail in England.
Harry, what if it's not meant to break down into English at all, but some other language, French, Russian?
Well, Archie didn't speak any foreign languages.
Claudius! Is it you?
Dr. Cherney.
I see it is. Quite so. May I ask why you are using a computer channel without permission, please? Don't you know this is forbidden without the express consent of the director?
It is? Since when?
Of late. We've had to regulate the operations of the computer very precisely, Mr. Claudius. Otherwise, we could have program conflicting with program, and malfunction as a result.
Dr. Bone. Well, what more natural? You've been checking up on me, of course. For longer than I think, perhaps. I mean, I've had this rum feeling for weeks now that someone's been peering over my shoulder. Also sticking pins into my wax image. All right for wax, are you, Dr. Bone? Oh, come to that. How's your image? Next time you appeared on TV, I thought...
I will not have disobedience. It is intolerable. You leave Torsans in the morning.
Leave.
Dr. Cherney, that's ridiculous. Mr. Claudius and I were only using the computer channel...
Leave! I've asked for help and cooperation. You refuse to give it to me. Why? If you had to make my decisions, would you make them better, do you think? Would you call my decisions wrong? All my life I've served science. I will not cease to serve it now. That man need not have died.
Well, Archie Chisholm.
The director was naturally very upset to hear of Mr. Chisholm's heart attack, Mr. Claudius.
Heart attack? It was that, was it? I mean, we're certain.
Well, what else?
Well, you tell me. I mean, construct me a scenario, Doctor, in which all the odd things about tonight and Tor Sands generally come together in a logical whole, and the loose ends are tied off with computer tape. I mean, all I can see at the moment are isolated, confusing facts. As, for instance, that our beloved director here is as nutty as an almond grove.
What? This is...
Oh, yes, Dr. Cherney, in good old-fashioned non-scientific terms, you're on the twist. I mean, a fool could see it. And being manipulated by Dr. Bone as a consequence.
You really are a contemptible person. Does it give you pleasure to behave like this?
Yet why, Director? Something to do with the fact that you think Genus Man is in such a god-awful mess he can only be saved by restructuring program, perhaps?
You! How dare you!
Stop this at once! It's impossible.
But you, Dr. Bone, now you believe man should be made over, don't you? Man, for his own good, needs to be forced into new forms and ways. Man who has betrayed science. The Phrenic testified.
Be silent! What? What is that?
It's the signal. We've been putting it through the computer for cipher scanning.
No, stop it! At once!
Dr. Cherney.
Stop it, I say! Give me help, not hindrance! I won't listen!
Wait, please! Intercept procedure. Dr. Marybone, voice imprint, code AX222. Abort cipher scanning operation. This is a non-reversible imperative. Repeat, non-reversible.
Voice imprint positive. Identity positive. Abort procedure. Non-reversible imperative.
I've remarked before that you're a very cruel man, Mr. Claudius. But you're also a very stupid one. You'll never get any sense out of that signal. Never.
Then why stop me working on it?
It's nothing but disassociated sounds. And you haven't the least concept of the priorities at Tor Sands. Not the least.
Disassociated sounds? That was what Archie said.
It's the director's birthday next week, Dr. Byrne. Will you get him the straitjacket, or shall I?
It was. Disassociated sounds.
Well, he needs something to stop him picking at those knots, lashing him to the helm.
Disassociated sounds. I tell you, Archie Archie said just that, Harry. Then he said, by the Lord in heaven, that couldn't be it, could it? And raced along to the computer room.
So what did he mean? Any bright suggestions?
Not really, no. But it's got to mean something,
Oh,
obviously.
it's all got to mean something. Like why people want to scare us off just for a few days. Why they have to invent new house rules and build in non-reversible imperatives to keep us off the computer. Yeah, I could go with Cherney's head, of course. No, it's possible. I mean, Tor Sands is a classified establishment.
Why don't you then?
Because it would take time. The Home Secretary seldom uncoils like a bloody spring. And time seems to be what we haven't got plenty of. There's something on, Julie. I felt it from the start. Something happening, proximately. And whatever it is, we've got... Now, hold on.
Yes?
Disassociated sound.
Yes, that's what I said.
And any old communications man should have seen it. Why, Julie. Julie, that's it.
What?
It must be, mustn't it? Now, listen. We've taken it for granted all along that the code on that signal is a verbal code, right? Now, that's to say the words are scrambled up and need deciphering.
Yes, what else?
Well, why shouldn't it be a vocal code?
Vocal
Well,
code?
in which the sounds are scrambled up, as though you took Olivier declaiming once more under the breach or something and moved all the vowels and consonants about until you had a regular Chinese puzzle of a sound. Well, that'd make a hell of a code. I mean, you'd never crack that by conventional means. I mean, even a computer wouldn't have a chance without the specialized information to get it in the groove.
How?
And I'll tell you something else. It's been dawning on me that voice on that signal...
What?
Wait. Now, what's that?
It was...
Yes, the corridor. Yes, I'm there. No, don't rush off, not so soon. We were just getting to know each other.
Claudius.
Come in, Dr. Ashley. Well, I'll be an ignoramus. All that higher education and expertise in electronics, and yet you finish up listening at keyholes. I tell you, they're crying in the comprehensives.
Yes, well, I apologize. I'm very sorry. It seems you've realized it's a vocal code on the signal. I'd just about come to that conclusion, too.
Well, what do I do first? Frisk your mind for ideas?
What does he want, Harry?
For science or for the race of men? I mean, that seems to be the tension we're gradually building up to.
It shouldn't be a tension. Never. It's immoral that it should ever become so. If it has become so. Oh, I don't know anything for sure.
Well, I'll find a couple of sponsors and I'll let you join the club.
Now, listen to me. The computer here at Tor Sands is my concern, my creation. Do you understand what that means? But quite recently, it's begun to seem to me that someone may be using it for, well, alien purposes.
You mean it's smuggling in Pakistanis on the side?
Oh, please, I'm entirely serious.
But why didn't you get serious before? Why wait till now?
Well, I wasn't sure of you before.
Well, what's changed? And why did you try to make me dilly-dally? Tell me to be careful.
Because you could have ruined everything with boneheaded action. Whatever's happening, if anything's happening, is subtle, shadowy. We must all proceed with great caution.
All?
What do you want from Harry, Doctor?
If it is a vocal code on the signal, as we suspect, then we're certainly not going to break it without the computer's aid. The permutations on spoken sounds could be almost infinite. But you've been forbidden the computer. Well, I'll provide you with a channel. Feed it through here to the monitoring section and help you run the program.
You do that?
I have to. You see, Claudius, when I spoke to you earlier about that group of scientists at the Louisville conference who advocated the restructuring of man, I wasn't being completely candid with you.
Oh.
I wasn't telling you all I knew. For instance, that Dr. Cherney was a convinced and important member of the group.
Dr. Cherney?
Yes.
How can you be sure of it?
Dr. Bone told me. In some kind of outburst, the director's emotional disturbance grows steadily more critical as it...
Oh, I like that. Oh, yes, I do. I like emotional disturbance.
Yes, well, he confided in her, apparently.
Then you're asking us to believe Dr. Bone is on the side of the angels, too.
Please. The Omega Point group of scientists is still a cohesive body, Claudius, and they would seem to be capable, just as you suggested, of supra-governmental action. Now, all this is coming to a head in some way, here, soon. Perhaps tonight.
No. Dr. Bone was leading the director around by the hand before, and it was she, more than anyone else, who got me off the computer by installing her non-reversible imperative.
The imperative I can deal with. As for the rest, well, perhaps it was just for the sake of appearances. In his present state of mind, the director is unpredictable. Well, for goodness sake, Claudius, you've got to trust someone, haven't you?
No, trust is a recognized function of weak and fallible human beings, I agree. And I seem to be all for weak and fallible human beings tonight. All right, Julie, I'll get it on the extension.
Dr. Ashley?
Yes,
Hello,
of course.
Claudius here.
Claudius, the director, come quickly.
Oh, why?
At once, it's most urgent. I'll be on gate 5 of the complex.
Gate 5? No.
Don't talk now. Tell no one
Yes, but
quickly.
for Pete's sake.
Hello? Hello?
You all right, Harry? No trouble?
No, nothing at all, no. Dr. Ashley, I've decided to take you up on your offer. As you say, I have to trust someone.
Splendid. I'll arrange for the computer channel at once.
Yes, you do that. Oh, meantime, I've got a couple of minor matters to attend to. You'll have to forgive me for a little while.
Attention. Gate 5 vigilance. You have tripped a security circuit.
Oh, look. I'm trying to get out. Not in, old fabrication. I mean, doesn't it make a difference,
Voice imprint and identity procedure. Commence.
Oh, fat-headed damn machine. Harry Claudius, voice imprint code CX333, exit requested.
Voice imprint positive. Identity positive. Exit procedure.
Well, where is he, I wonder? Hanging from the cliffs by the rags of his sanity?
Claudius! Claudius!
Director? Come out. Come out. Wherever you are.
I'm over here, in my car.
Well, ill met by dawnlight, or words to that effect.
Thank you for coming, Claudius. Yes. Thank you very much. You told no one as I asked.
Not a soul.
I'm grateful. I'm going on a journey, you see. Yes, a long journey. But first I wanted to speak to someone. I thought of you.
But when are you going? And does anyone know about it? I mean, Dr. Bone, Dr. Ashley?
You know by now, I'm one of what they call the Omega Point group of scientists. You've learned that.
Well, let's just say it slipped out over the teacups.
I believe in the restructuring of man. Yes. You think all that evil, of course. Wicked, arrogant.
Well,
I know. As man is made, so man must remain. You don't have to believe in God to believe God did his work well. But that's foolishness. Idiocy. Man is flawed, maimed. And the work of science is to heal what is sick and strengthen what is weak in every sphere. Therefore...
Dr. Cherney, if you've dragged me out here just to listen to all this...
No, I'm sorry. There is something else, something much more important. I want you to know how I came to feel as I do.
But why? And why me?
Because soon I must leave on my journey. And somebody must report me accurately afterwards.
Well, you could have written a letter, couldn't you? I mean, done a radio phone-in?
The work of science. All my life I have done the work of science, Claudius. No matter how hard it was. When I was young, just beginning to study, the Nazis marched into my homeland of Czechoslovakia. There was murder, imprisonment, injustice. After they're gone, the communists took power. Still murder, imprisonment, injustice. Man, you see. The fault lay in man. My studies showed me the possibility of harmony, peace, and perfection in the natural order. While out there in the streets, with his unchecked greed and violence, was nature's greatest failure. Man, the upright, vicious ape.
Well, I only got taken for national service, but still I knew some NCOs like
Yet
that.
don't you see? It has gone far enough at long last. This century has known more evil and bloodshed than all the other ages of the world put together. We must make a change in all that now. Now, while there is still time. Soon it will be too late.
But how? I mean, that's what I don't figure in this whole crazy business. I mean, what do you mean to do in practice? I mean, man is man, isn't he? You can't precisely tear up the blueprints and start again.
We can do the next best thing. If you'd like to know, nothing can stop what we mean to do now. No. The Omega Point plan is already a reality. The restructuring of man has begun.
What?
Yes. Tonight is a chosen moment, a turning point in human history. Tomorrow, everything will be different.
Now, Director, Dr. Cherney, let's talk about this like sane human beings, shall we? Well, I'm glossing over that word sane.
Long process. Secret. Imperceptible. 50 bases throughout the world. Laboratories, hospitals, sociological centers.
50 bases? The Omega Point plan is to be implemented through 50 separate bases throughout the world.
Soon to be 100, 1,000. When the other scientists, those fools who rejected us at Louisville, see what we're able to do in the laboratories, genetic engineering, development of the strain already in existence that will alter the character of man, programming out his aggression, his greed, and stupid individualism.
You're on the level. I mean, all this can be done.
In the hospitals, the requisite surgery imposing new genetic structure on newborn infants, the adult young, a wide range of unsuspecting subjects. Later, biological surgery too, reconciling man to his physical environment so that he will no longer war against it. And elsewhere all the time, the achieving of educational and cultural control, doing away with all those illusion sources that have bemused and betrayed man ever since he emerged from the evolutionary mire. Art, philosophy, religion. A comprehensive program, you see. A life's work. Completed.
Completed?
I must begin my journey.
Well, you're not sticking around to break a bottle of champagne over the bows as the ship slides down the runway? Hmm? Oh, that's contrary. You do know you're mad, don't you, Doctor? Hmm? You're not blinding yourself to that little reality anymore.
I am not mad. Don't say such things to me.
No, come on. You've driven yourself mad. All this moody reflection on the insufficiency of man, the ghastliness of human history. Too much for the enfeebled brain, Doctor. Now, Baron Frankenstein had something of the same problem, as I recall. Now, you should have been out in the fresh air, somewhere where there was a cricket pitch.
Please, I must leave in peace. Oh, peace.
Oh, yes, that cry of no cooperation, no help from God or man. Oh, that's the mark of a paid-up paranoid down the ages. You cannot run away from it, Dr. Cherney.
I'm not running away. I have served science faithfully.
Now, look, how is the Omega Point program to be triggered off exactly? I mean, how?
Stop it! I will not listen to you!
That signal we picked up. Now, is that something to do with it? And the other Omega Point scientists?
I am not mad!
Who are they? Their names? You damn maniac! You might as well tell me! Where do you think you're going anyway? God almighty! The cliffs! Well. You gotta go. You gotta go. You know, Dr. Bone was right. I'm cruel. Julie was right. I'm a creep. Perhaps we need the Mark II after all. Yes. Perhaps we do.
Drove the car over the cliffs, you say, Mr. Claudius? Straight into the sea?
Mm-hmm. With an accuracy of aim and singleness of purpose seldom demonstrated in life, Dr. Bone. We shall miss such incisiveness.
Oh, this is dreadful. Oh, I knew he hadn't been himself for some time, of course, but this...
Never dreamt a fanatical commitment to the restructuring of man had driven him off his trolley. Quite. Yes, I seem to remember you said something of the sort before. But Dr. Ashley tells me you're a goody after all.
I beg your pardon?
Well, beneath that harsh exterior, there beats the heart of a warm human nuclear furnace designer. Welcome to the Alps, Dr. Bird. How's your golf these days? Oh, if you don't care for golf, can I borrow the club?
I take it the emergency can be called off.
I've notified the police. No escape from that this time. They'll handle everything when they come.
Intercept procedure. Dr. Marybone, voice imprint, code AX222. Abort emergency. Abort.
Voice imprint positive. Identity positive. Abort emergency.
Oh, Dr. Ashley's lending a hand with the interpretation of that signal, incidentally.
Indeed.
Yes, he feels so strongly that it might break down into sense, after all. That he's reversed your non-reversible imperative. I don't know how that's done, but then I never got beyond Pythagoras on the mathematical side. Still, it's mostly academic now, isn't it?
I'm afraid I don't follow you.
Why, with poor Cherney no longer in our midst, the priorities at Tor Sands become business as usual, nothing else for it.
Mr. Claudius, it may not have escaped your attention that I don't particularly like you.
Yes, I had begun to wonder. But it said on the side of the bottle the deodorant would alter all that.
But if I'm compelled to admit now that I was wrong in mistrusting you before, then at least I don't have to provide my reasons for having done so. Are you accusing me of something?
Merely requesting clarification. Poor Mad Cherney was under the impression nothing could now stop the Omega Point program going forward. Now, I think that is why he killed himself. Now, can you confirm or deny?
Why should I know anything about it, whatever? I've simply been concerned throughout to find out what I could, like Dr. Ashley and you. Now, if you'll forgive me, Mr. Claudius, the nuclear furnace.
Oh, my, what a deal of attention it needs. No wonder you labour through the night.
The director's death lays certain additional obligations on me. I really must go.
Bye, Doc.
2. Age. N. Z. Mess. Home. E. A. Pointer.
Yes, Miss Ross. I believe we're very nearly there. Series 18, didn't we call this?
Series 18. That's right, Dr. Ashley.
Then I'll build in the relevant coordinates and program accordingly. This is the cipher at last. Feel sure of it. Everything else answers. There you go.
Fingers crossed.
Eg. A. Pointer. Eg. A. Pointer. Priority. Imperative.
Yes, Doctor. Yes, that's it. Understandable words. We won.
I'll stop, coordinate the whole, then run it at normal speed.
Oh, it's remarkable. For a while there, I almost lost the faith, I'm afraid. We seemed a generation away from the solution.
Yeah, we were lucky. The sound scrambling could have been completely wild, but it responded to a pattern.
Hello there. Any luck yet?
Harry, oh, yes. Yes, we've just broken the code.
What took you so long? What does it say?
We're just getting that operation now. Hold on.
Hey, what was that emergency a few minutes ago?
No? No, nothing to worry about. You could say Omega Point stocks took a sudden dive. A long one.
What?
My jokes get sicker and sicker, also weaker and weaker. A casual observer might say I was asking for the bird.
This is it. Right.
Omega Pointer. Omega Pointer. Priority imperative. Standby computer channels. Code LXF to LXF50. Schematic program Omega Point plan and first action directives will be transmitted March 15th, 0330 hours. Repeating, March 15th, 0330 hours. All channels to remain open. Authorization codes DL555/AX2 222. Message ends. Omega point.
Oh, why, after all that, it's just a kind of alert. The information we want is to follow.
On the contrary, Julie, it tells us plenty. The voice of the Tor Sans computer. Right, Ashley? As I was beginning to suspect. And linked to 50 other computers throughout the world.
LXF to LXF50, Omega point computer.
They're to receive the entire schematic program and first action directives March 15th, 0330 hours, sound-coded and sped up just like this signal.
Presumably.
But Harry, March 15th, 0330 hours, that's in about 30 minutes from now.
Why, so it is. You better reach me down my gun belt, girlie. Me and the Tor Sans computer. It's been a long time.
Claudius, a computer can only do what it's instructed to do. It has no other capacity.
Yet, we've some information on that point, too, haven't we? The authorization codes are DL555 and AX222.
DL555? That's Dr. Journey's code.
Well, yes.
And AX222
is Dr. Bone. Quite. Alone at the helm now and attending to the nuclear furnace. I'd better handle this myself in the first instance. For the rest, the plan will be... You know, Dr. Bone, the real difference between you and me is that I seek relevance, whereas you seek revolution. I'd be perfectly happy to sit knocking back the wine of life, if only I could lay my hands on enough of the stuff. But you feel a need to heave the whole suspect vintage out and brew up a new, even more dubious substance.
What are you doing in the furnace room, please? Surely you know entry is restricted.
I'm here as Chief of Security. We've cracked the code on that signal at last, Doctor. At 0330 hours, a blanket Omega point instruction is going out to a gaggle of foreign computers, all waiting with circuits flapping. Now that puts the show on the road. You believe you can relax.
I find it remarkably difficult to understand what you're saying to me at times, you know.
Yes, I'm sure.
You seem to have a Omega point on the brain. That is perhaps inadvisable. Look what happened to poor Dr. Journey.
Oh, come on. He saved you a nasty job.
I beg your pardon?
If he hadn't driven himself off the cliffs, would you have given him a shove, Doctor? You'd be capable of it, wouldn't you? He had what passed for a conscience about what he was doing. He might have blown the gap at any time, yet you couldn't go on leading him around forever.
Excuse me. Computer response.
Nuclear furnace check positive. Malfunction nil.
Oh, yes. The professional front is perfect, Doctor. But you aren't at your post into the small hours simply out of concern for the furnace.
Radioactive ash is still being deposited. It could be extremely dangerous if there were the least suggestion of malfunction.
Oh, come on. Let's give each other a break. I'll stop playing smarter lick if you'll just cough like a lady should. I mean, Tor Sans is a bit of a forgotten project government-wise, right? The fast reactor simply hasn't been developed elsewhere. Also, by some stroke of bureaucratic whimsy, the place is fully computerized. What better home base for the secret worldwide comprehensive Omega Point plan?
Oh, controlled and monitored by the computer, you're suggesting?
Well, of course. The less you have directly to do with it, the better. Imperatives can be hidden in a busy computer. You've even been deliberately building in fail-safe devices so that there would be both more surface activity and less staff around to spot what really lay behind it.
Dr. Rashley has been doing that, if anyone...
Oh, yes. Nudged in the right direction by you and Journey. Dr. Bone, I'm trying to tell you that the jig's up. Now, whether you admit anything or not, Rashley will simply intercept on the computer and stop that 0330 Omega Point imperative from being implemented.
Well, now, Claudius, I wouldn't like you to think that that's the only way things could turn out.
Dr. Rashley?
What's the time now? Oh, 3:16. Yes. Actually, I've time-locked the doors to the furnace room here so that they won't open again till 0400. By that time, I should think the Omega Point imperative will be safely transmitted and the new era of human history successfully launched. Don't you agree, Dr. Bone?
The arrangements seem perfectly satisfactory, Dr. Rashley.
Bless my paws and whiskers, doctors both. Have I been a bit of a bunny,
Oh, please don't think too badly of yourself.
And the door's time-locked, you say?
In case of a radioactive leak, the various sections of Tor Sans need to have a device for securely closing them off. The entire complex is similarly fitted up.
Oh, but don't put my faith in fallen rabbits. Oh, trust is a function of weak and fallible human beings, and make no mistake, we do need the Mark II.
We tried to warn you off the whole Omega Point area from the beginning, you know, but you seemed unable to take our hints.
So we had to become a bit more subtle, shadowy.
Even to helping me crack the signal code.
Even to controlling the cracking of it, so that you couldn't possibly find out too much too soon. It was the most uncanny mischance that you'd stumbled on the signal in the first place.
And Archie? Archie Chisholm?
That was unfortunate.
Oh, I see.
He arrived at the truth a lot sooner than anyone could have predicted, you see. He was on the internal phone to you in high excitement when I happened to walk into the computer room. Naturally, I had to restrain his enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
And in the circumstances, it meant a physical restraint. I tried not to be too forceful, but because of his heart.
Come on, look, you killed him. Then you are capable of murder in defense of your plans, you Omega Point people. Will that be a characteristic of the Mark II as well?
The choice is between survival of the species and extinction, Mr. Claudius. What are you calling for? Universal war? Chaos? Destruction of the environment? Or the occasional necessary elimination of an obstacle to human progress?
That's a funny way to describe someone like Archie Chisholm. And I suppose as a weak and fallible human being, I'd say the violence and the greed we have always with us. But we'd better be nice to each other on a personal level or we're dead.
Oh, that's fatuous.
Oh, yes. I'm standing up for the balmy as well as the imperfect tonight. Oh, I am asking for the bird. Now, how much more of this kind of material can the audience take?
That'll be for you, Claudius.
Who is it? Robin Day? It's your line to the rescue?
It will be for you.
So, Claudius.
Harry, something's wrong. I'm alone here in the monitoring section, and I find I can't get out. The doors have been locked.
Why, naturally. Nothing left to chance, Julie. Nothing at all.
What? Look, Dr. Rushley said he had to go along to his office for a few minutes, but he...
No, just listen to me. There's something you've got to do. It's something urgent. Now, are you still linked through to the computer there?
Of course she isn't, and even if she were, it wouldn't help. The computer will only answer to intercept procedures from me and Dr. Bone. That 0330 imperative will not be stopped, Claudius.
Harry, what is it you want me to do?
Nothing. Forget it, Julie. Just think beautiful thoughts. Oh, and keep sending to the Society for Distressed Security Chiefs. The weak and fallible need all the help they can get tonight.
Harry!
So, Ashley, the 0330 imperative will not be stopped unless you or Dr. Bone intercept on the computer.
And we're neither of us likely to do that, I think you'd agree.
Yet it must be stopped. I don't believe you people are remotely representative of the human race, or even of the scientific establishment. We're most of us happy in our grubby imperfection. Happy. And the entire Omega Point plan going out to 50 scattered computers. Why? Oh, that builds it in, so to say. Though it may be frustrated in one place, it can continue to worm away in another. It's there, active, like a virus released into the atmosphere.
You could say that's the general idea.
Yes.
There'll be little frustration, however, even of a minor nature, and only you or Miss Ross could achieve that. And in the circumstances, you've become obstacles to human progress.
Which gives me an idea of my own. Time-locked into the nuclear furnace room, as we are, it's time we sprung a radioactive leak, don't you think? Now, this mechanism here, wasn't it?
Claudius! God above, stop him. He's lifting the tampers.
Crazy fool. Even 60 seconds exposure to radiation.
Get through to the computer and intercept. There's still time. 0324.
Stop him! Stop him!
No, Doctor, my turn to order human history. Forgive the violence, the selfishness, and individualism. It was a Sunday punch, though, wasn't it? Over to you, Dr. Bone. Tampers lifted. Pure plutonium streaming out of this. Now, will you intercept, or...
Oh, you're utterly mad! Intercept procedure. Dr. Marybone. Voice imprint AX222. Abort 0330 hours imperative.
Abort Omega Point program. Destruct tapes and inhibit memory banks.
No! You can't ask that. You
Plutonium,
can't.
Doctor, the deadliest substance known to man.
Abort Omega Point program. Destruct tapes. Inhibit memory banks. Priority imperative.
Voice imprint positive. Identity positive. Abort Omega Point program. Destruct tapes. Inhibit memory banks. Priority imperative.
Now, for God's sake, there's tampers.
Victory for the weak and fallible, Doctor. Not to mention the balmy. When I report all this to the next meeting of Lame Brains Anonymous...
Wait! Listen.
What is it?
The Geiger counters. Oh, my God, can't you hear? Registering the level of radioactivity. It's far above tolerance. Look at the readings. Oh, you stupid, damnable fool. Can't you understand? You've killed us.
A bit of a mistake, it seems. Criminal weakness, lethal fallibility.
You killed us. It's impossible to withstand a bombardment of that order. You don't feel anything, but you're dying. You're dying. The doors can't something be done. Oh, help us. Help us, we're dying.
Oh, the Mark II would have figured things out much more sensibly, wouldn't he? Yes, perhaps we do need him after all. Perhaps I've done an evil thing. Yes, it's true, you don't feel anything. You don't even know anything. Oh, but what a way to get the bird. What a way to go.
Priority communication. Priority communication. Personal message. Personal message. Julie Ross. Monitoring section. Message commences.
Julie, by the time you hear this recording, I expect I'll be up there, in that great music hall in the sky, where the pratfalls leave no bruises, and the jokes fail not. I did a deal with the computer. I promised never to confuse another of its operations as long as I lived, if only it would pass this message on to you. So we finish up square. I'm feeling a bit dopey now. It's the only bad effect, it seems. Oh, Rashley has already stepped out on his journey into the unknown, I think. Dr. Bone will probably go about the time I do. Oh, brilliant. Tragic woman. You know, with a bit more luck, she could have gone a long way. And I wish she'd start now.
Oh, Harry.
I just wanted you to know two things, Julie. First, I finally found a kind of relevance at Torsan. At doing this, I mean. On the level. Making a damn fool, idiotic stand against the whole box and dice. The efficiency, the programming, the predictability, the perfection. Oh, yes. The perfection is the enemy. It's funny how you come to see that at length. When man was born to be a mess and a muddle, and he wouldn't be the same without it. I mean, the Mark II would have been, but not of our kind. That's why you've got to put down any attempt to resurrect him, Julie. That's why you've got to tell the world about Omega Point. Now, listen. The second thing is, I know now why I stayed down the dark road with the car. Because all that was a mess, you see. My mess. My muddle. The divorce, my whole damn life. And I needed to assert my right to me, a filthier foul-up as the next man. I mean, is that crazy? Remember, would he stand up in court? Oh, come to that. Would I stand up in court? I feel as though I went on the boot polish after the gin ran out.
What was a gag, Harry?
Maybe it would have been morning sooner than I thought. Maybe you would have helped me to see the sunrise. The lights are going out now. I didn't mean to be a creep about Archie, Julie. It's exactly the same for me. I mean, if that means anything. It's no other. comment possible. When you gotta go.
Message ends. End of priority communication. End.
In Omega Point by Bruce Stewart, Dinsdale Landon played Harry Claudius, Sidney Taffler, Dr. Czerny, Rosalind Adams, Julie, Henry Stamper, Archie Chisholm, Hayden Jones, Dr. Rashley, and Anne Jameson, Dr. Mary Bone. Anthony Smee was the computer voice, and effects were specially created by Roger Lim. The producer was Sean McLaughlin.
It was announced today by NY East that 200 new robot workers have been added to the labor force of the Trenton area mass. However, in the short term, further cuts in the standard
City
ration
Hall
quotas
regret
and
to announce that the 5th Avenue Expressway has been zoned off between 39th and 7th, level 272. This is due to a massive man jam. Repeat, a massive man jam on the 5th Avenue Expressway, level
that they are fully
272.
protected by the three laws of
relatives'
robotics.
inquiries will be issued
The
shortly.
three laws of robotics. First law, a robot may not harm a human
United
being
Ecumenical Free
or through
Thinking
inaction
Church brings
allow
you
a
this
human being
message.
to come to harm.
Are you alone?
Second
Are you
law,
uncertain?
a
Are
robot
you
must obey
unsure?
the instructions given to
Remember,
it by a human
the
being,
Lord is good.
except where they would
The
conflict
Lord is
with the
kind.
first law.
The Lord can be whatever
Third
you want
law,
him to be.
a robot must
Join us
protect
and
its
put
own
your trust
existence,
in the word of
except
the
where
Lord.
this would cause conflict
Thank
with the
you
first
for
and
your
second
attention.
laws. Remember, the three laws of robotics: your safeguard and your shield.
The Caves of Steel by Isaac Asimov. Dramatized by Bert Cools. With Ed Bishop and Sam Dastor.
Level 352. Nice day.
New York, the second deepest city on Earth. Listen to it. That's the sound of 200 million people. It's a good sound.
Mayor Clark wishes all citizens a nice day. Thank you.
The cities mean decent standards, decent food, decent law and order. You can take a pride in things. Your own bed on the residential levels, your own seat in the section kitchen, your own locker in the personal. I know New York. I know every centimeter of every level of every section. I have to. Bailey, Elijah, plainclothesman, C5.
Identification confirmed. Welcome to Police Headquarters Central. Nice day.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, hi, Lige. How's it going with that headache out in Trenton?
Wants you, Lige. Right away. Soon as you come in.
All right, all right.
Soon as you come in.
All right, boy. Now go away, huh?
Go away. Yes, Lige. Soon as you come in. Nice day.
Jeez, I'd like to kick that damn messenger where it hurts.
Now, you show me where that is, and I'll be second in line.
Young Vince Barrett was here today, looking for work.
Did he meet our Sammy?
You kidding? We kept them apart. How would you like it if one of them took your job, and then you had to shake hands like nothing had happened?
That's the thing we're all living through. Excuse me, Joe. The boss wants to see me.
Yeah. Right away. Soon as you come in. Nice day.
Gee, Hossafat, isn't one of them in the place enough?
One too many. Go see the boss.
The boss was Commissioner Julius Enderby. We went through training school together.
Come.
But I never had his way with the people who counted. I got left behind. Enderby had some odd ways about him. Outside of history books, he was the only person I've ever seen wearing glasses. Glasses! He said his eyes were too sensitive for contacts. And I had real chicken twice last week.
Come in, Lige. Come in. How's Jesse? And the boy?
Fine.
Good. Good.
Whatever was up, he sure as hell didn't want to talk about it. He took off his stupid glasses and polished them, like he always did when he was nervous. With his eyes not focused properly, he managed to look even vaguer than usual. Commissioner, I wish you wouldn't send our Sammy out after me.
You think I like it? I tell you, it's bad enough they're in the city at all without having one in the department. But he's been placed here, and I've got to use him for something.
Yeah, well, he makes me uncomfortable. Anyway, you wanted to see me.
Yes. But not for anything easy. Let me show you something first.
Gee, Hossafat.
Don't be alarmed.
You might have warned me.
Didn't you realize we are above ground here?
How could I?
I've just had this installed. In the old days, all rooms had them. Windows. Come over here and look out.
Look out. There was something indecent about it. Besides, what was there to see? Just the skin of the city, the outer shells of human hives. But he was the commissioner, so I looked out.
It's misty today. We can't see across to... What do you know about Spacetown, Lige?
Just what everybody knows. It's the Spacers' base on Earth. It's where they keep their prying eyes on us and make sure we don't get ideas above our place in life.
All right. What do you know about the Spacers?
Commissioner, I was through with school 20 years ago.
Answer the question.
Oh, damn it, you know as well as I do what the Spacers are. They run this planet like it's their personal property. They've got the world government in the palm of their hand, and when Spacetown says jump, we jump, sir. What is this, anyway? This is kindergarten stuff.
3 days ago, a spacer died.
Too bad. Something contagious, I hope.
What?
Nothing. What did he die of?
He died of a missing chest. Someone used a blaster on him. The Spacers say it was an Earthman.
Oh, I don't believe it. A thing like this would blow New York off the face of the planet.
Oh, you can believe it. I was there.
When it happened? You mean you were a witness?
I mean, I had an appointment with him, with the victim. If I'd been 5 minutes earlier, I would have discovered the body. What are you staring at?
Are you wearing new glasses?
I broke them. I suppose it was the shock. Lige, these last 3 days have been hell.
On account of the glasses?
It's a devil of a situation, Bailey. You know how tricky Earth's position is with the outer worlds. The Spacers could move in force any time. They only want an excuse.
Look, you don't have to draw me a picture.
But they've given us the ghost of a chance. We've got to find the murderer and hand him over to them. It's up to us. And if we succeed,
well?
God damn it, do I have to spell it out? It's not just the Spacers people hate, it's what they've foisted onto us. Our Sammy out there is just a beginning. The Spacers have some that can do your work, mine even. This is our chance to show them what Earthmen can do. Don't you want that chance?
Me?
You'll be in charge.
I'm only a C5. Why me?
2 reasons. You're not just another cop. I like to think I'm your friend.
That's one reason. What's the second?
I need a favor.
What sort of favor?
The Spacers made conditions. They insisted on having one of their agents in on this. I want you to work with a spacer partner. Look, there'll be a sure promotion in this for you at the end. Will you do it?
Yes, I will.
Thanks, Lige. He'll have to live with you.
Oh, hang on.
Just until you crack the case.
What's this spacer's name?
Look, the spacers have peculiar ways. You know that.
Commissioner.
This partner isn't... Really, he isn't...
Now, just a minute.
You've got to.
No.
What else can we do? We're trapped.
What's my partner's name?
Good man. He's R. Daniil Oliver.
Well, I think we can cut out the euphemisms, Commissioner. Let's use his full name, huh? Robot Daniil Oliver. I thought about robots as I rode the expressway strip out to Spacetown. Over the past few years, the damn things have been appearing everywhere, taking work that men used to do. Like I said, when Spacetown said jump, we jumped. People said the spacers had 50 robots for every man. They never needed to lift a finger. Me, I wanted to keep my job. Well, I had to pick up my new partner and bring him back to the city. I also had to stop the good citizens of New York from bashing his nice, shiny body into scrap metal. Spacetown. Low domes, spread out, open to the air. The only connection to the city was a covered approachway. They guarded their end, we guarded ours.
Hold it. Let's see your ID.
Open up. Official business.
You going right across?
No, just to the approachway. You can close up behind me. I was out of the city. The corridor was made of some flimsy, translucent stuff, and the light was weird. The air moved. I felt sick. Then I saw a spacer.
Are you unwell?
He was dressed like an Earthman, but he was a spacer, all right. 2 meters plus, disgustingly healthy, and the kind of looks that are so damn perfect they're just asking to be messed up a little. His eyes took me in and told me I was lower than dirt.
Do you require medical assistance?
I'm all right.
You seem to be under stress.
I am plainclothesman Elijah Bailey, City of New York Police Department, rating C5. I have been instructed to meet R. Daniil Oliver. Please tell him that I have arrived.
That will not be necessary. I'm here.
You?
I am R. Daniil Oliver.
Have I made some mistake? I thought the first initial...
Quite so. I am a robot.
Hey, that was quick.
Yeah.
Nobody home?
Sir. Good afternoon, officer. Sir. You may reseal the door. I'm remaining in the city. You are disturbed about something. It would be best if you were to be frank with me.
I was expecting a robot.
I am a robot.
I mean an ordinary robot, damn it.
Oh, I see. But on Earth, robots are objects of hatred, is that not so? Surely it was obvious that you would be partnered with a model such as myself.
Yes, it was obvious, now that the damn thing had pointed it out to me. A conventional robot roaming freely around the city would be in quick trouble. But who could have known the damn spacers had models this advanced? And what else were they up to that we couldn't even guess at? This place is getting on my nerves. Let's get back to where there are people. Have you been inside New York before?
No.
seem to be taking it all very calmly.
I have been fully briefed on what to expect. I have been given all the relevant information on the city, and, of course, on yourself, partner Elijah. Is such behavior usual?
Of course it isn't usual. Hey, let us through here. What's happening here? You, what is all this?
Damned if I know. They got some of those lousy robots working with me. Smash them! Jobs are for people!
Quiet. Quiet, police. Please let us through there. Get back from that door. Now my partner and I are going inside. Nobody else, understood? Daniel, take my neutralizer.
I have one of my own.
Right. Kill the door on my signal. Now.
Get
in there! Okay, police. What's going on here?
Officers, thank goodness. Hey, look, my assistants have been assigned me by the city.
Is that them?
Yes, they are distressingly primitive models.
Well, we like our robots that look like robots, okay?
What the hell's that?
Okay. What sparked all this off, huh?
A customer wouldn't let one of my men save her. She ran out into the street screaming about dirty, greasy robots and how they were taking away jobs.
I get the picture. I'm calling the riot squad.
Open the door, please.
What?
I order you to open the door.
Hey, they'll pull us apart. I'll let your buddy send for some help here.
It is not necessary. Please do as I say.
I'm holding the city responsible for any damage.
Open the door.
You're the boss.
Right, let's get in there!
Stop!
Come on, let's get there!
The next person who moves will be shot. You are thinking this man is holding a neuronic whip or a tickler. We can rush him and only one or two of us will be hurt, and that very mildly.
Get in!
You are mistaken. This is a blaster, and it is very deadly. I will use it, and I will kill many of you before you can seize me. I will now walk to the door. I will shoot anyone who touches me. When I reach the door, I will shoot any man or woman who is not moving about their business. It was, as I said. Assistance was unnecessary.
Next time you keep better control of your customers, okay?
Yes, officer, sure. Thanks. You too, pal.
You are welcome, sir.
No more trouble, right? You, outside. Don't you ever do that again.
Never again insist on the observance of the law.
Threatening people with a blaster, I mean.
I am not capable of injuring a human being, Elijah. Surely you know that.
That's what I've been told.
A robot may not harm a human being or, through inaction, allow one to come to harm. No robot can be constructed without the first law.
I know the propaganda, and so do they. But if they'd recognized you as a robot...
I was sure they would not.
Let's get home. Now listen, all my wife's been told is that I'm working with a new partner and he's going to be staying with us for a few days. That's all she knows, and that's all she needs to know, okay?
Lige, are you hurt?
Hurt?
Well, it was on the news. 2 plainclothesmen stopped a riot in our subsection. I knew you two were coming home together, so
No,
I
relax,
guess...
relax. We're fine, you can see.
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry, but...
Jesse, this is my new partner, Daniel Oliver.
Mr. Oliver.
How do you do, Mrs. Bailey?
Hey, Jesse, please.
Jesse.
That's better.
Hi, Dad.
Stop staring, Ben. Don't they teach you any manners at that ritzy school?
Sorry.
Daniel, this is my son, Bentley. Mr. Oliver, Ben.
How'd you do, Mr. Oliver?
Well, I'm starved. What are we eating?
Zymoville again.
I hate Zymoville. It's pink and it's crumbly and it tastes like nothing under steel. But that day I hardly noticed it. All I could think of was that a spacer machine had done my job for me while I stood by and watched. Okay, maybe no robot can harm a human being, but there's harm and there's harm.
Are you sure you won't join us, Daniil?
Quite sure, thank you, Jessie.
Well, I wish all our guests were that polite. That Joe Simpson, do you know him, no? Well, anyway, he sat right there last time he was here and ate his way through 2 days' quota. 2 days!
Jesse.
Mr. Oliver,
Yes, Bentley.
are you interested in robots?
Chew it slow, Elijah. Lose the flavor.
Ben, stop bothering Mr. Oliver.
He's not bothering me, Elijah. Yes, Bentley, I am quite interested in that subject.
Are you in favor of them? Dad says...
Ben, please.
I'd like to talk to you at length about the problem, Bentley, but it will have to be some other time. Your father and I are going to be very busy for the rest of the evening.
Gee, Hossafat. I'd been so wrapped up in my own damn troubles that I'd completely forgotten the corpse with the missing chest. I'd forgotten the murder.
Are you certain that we will not be disturbed?
I've told you. Ben's staying with some friends, and it's Jessie's regular night out. She never gets home much before midnight. Now, let's get on with it. All I've been told is that the murdered man was a Dr. Raj Numanu Sartan, a robotics expert from the planet Aurora.
That is correct. This is a picture of Dr. Sartan.
But that's you.
No, Elijah. That is Dr. Sartan, my designer.
Your designer? And you're an exact duplicate.
Reasonably close.
You were made in your maker's image.
I have just said so.
Okay, switch it off and give me some more details. What about suspects? Did he have any enemies in Spacetown?
The crime was not committed by a resident of Spacetown.
Surely you can't...
The killer was an Earthman.
Okay. But how? There are guards at both ends of that approachway, 24 hours a day.
Spacetown is freely open to the countryside.
The countryside? Are you saying that someone from the city crossed over to Sartan's dome through the open air?
It is the only explanation.
Impossible. There isn't a man alive who could do it.
That is exactly what your commissioner said. He was even more disturbed at the idea than you.
The cities have been enclosed for centuries. I don't know a single individual who could even think of going out into the open.
We do not believe that this crime was committed by an individual.
What?
Our theory is that it was the work of a well-organized terrorist group.
Terrorists?
We think that anti-spacer feeling is being deliberately fostered by a secret underground movement, possibly planet-wide in its influence.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Commissioner Enderby does not think so.
Well, I do. Look, most Earth people like to live in the past to a certain extent. Maybe some take it to extremes. They call themselves medievalists and harp on about the good old days. They don't go around organizing riots and killing spacers.
My orders are to locate the leaders of this movement.
And a robot always obeys orders, right?
Of course. Except where they would conflict with the first law.
Okay. Just for the moment, let's assume that you're right, and the medievalists are not just harmless cranks, but a fully armed, unregistered militant organization. We still don't have a motive. Why was Sartan killed?
Because he was one of the leaders of the pro-Earth movement, and he had...
Wait a minute. What do you mean, the pro-Earth movement?
Not all the spacers share the views of my people, partner Elijah.
But I thought... All right, go on.
The residents of Spacetown and their supporters on the outer worlds believed that a healthy and modernized Earth would be of great benefit to the whole galaxy.
The galaxy.
But there are powerful elements opposed to this view. They hold that a modernized Earth would be warmongering and destructive.
Well, I can tell you both sides are wasting their time. Earth doesn't want your galaxy any more than Earth wants your robots.
Dr. Sartan had conceived an entirely new approach to the problem of your planet.
Well, good for him.
He had been working for years towards the day when his plan could be put into operation. And virtually on the eve of that day, Dr. Sartan was brutally killed.
Well, what was it? What exactly was Sartan's master plan?
He said that we were failing because of a lack of knowledge of ordinary Earth people and their attitudes. To rectify that, he proposed the secret infiltration into your cities of completely undetectable humanoid robots such as myself.
Good God.
Be quiet.
What?
There is someone approaching the door.
What are you doing back?
Daniil,
Jessie?
I think that you are a robot.
Yes, Jessie. I am.
City Hall respectfully reminds all citizens that levels 782 and above are officially restricted. Level 782 and above. If you are rated C9 or lower, please do not attempt access to 782 and above. Thank you for your cooperation.
Citizens living on bachelor level 191 are reminded that their section kitchen is still inoperative. The City Hall apologizes for any inconvenience. IDs and ration slips are valid on adjacent levels until further notice. Thank you.
Power down to light will be at 2350. 2350, power down to light. Please observe. Thank you.
Blood, you awake?
What do you think?
You should have told me.
How could I?
Can't you get rid of it?
Why won't you tell me how you found out?
Why did it have to be you?
An assignment is an assignment. And there could be a lot in this for us.
In what?
You know better than that.
Why don't you resign?
What?
Why not? Just walk in tomorrow, tell him to be you through.
That would mean declassification for sure. Do you want that? Yeah, you're crazy.
I am not crazy, you fool. I'm scared. I'm scared to death.
Jess.
Oh.
Just what are you scared of, huh? You're not afraid of Daniil himself. You've faced up to him just fine.
Yeah, but if people know he's a robot, there'll be a riot.
But people don't know.
They do. The rumors all over the section. The police have brought in a spacer robot that looks just like a man. You know, someone must have recognized him at that riot in retail.
How? The thing's perfect. The perfect policeman. Too damn good to be true.
What are you talking about?
I was just thinking. Quiet.
That was the door.
Yeah. That was the door.
Where are you going?
Stay there. It was Daniil.
Daniil? But what is...
But he'll be back in a minute. Now listen, and don't say a word. Everything's fine. We'll be rid of him in the morning, for good. And there won't be any riot. The case is over. I've solved it.
Why are we not using the expressway strip system, partner Elijah?
This is a big case. We raid a squad car.
There is no other traffic.
Now, these old tunnel roads are off limits to civilians.
It seems to be an extensive network. Do you wish to discuss the investigation?
Not till we get to Spacetown.
Please remain in exactly the same position. Please remain in exactly the same position.
I heard, damn it, I heard.
Drying complete. Please collect your clothing. Drying complete. Please collect your clothing.
Well, what do you know? Laundry service, too.
When you are dressed, please proceed to the waiting area. When you are dressed...
All right already.
I hope you did not find the reception processing unpleasant.
Reception processing, eh?
It is necessary. The risk of infection is considerable. This way, partner Elijah.
Okay. What the devil?
Please stay exactly where you are. Please stay exactly where
The
you
sensors
are.
have detected a power source.
Please stay
Are you
exactly
still carrying your blaster? No weapons are allowed inside.
A police officer has his blaster on him or in easy reach at all times.
Your regulations do not apply here. Even your commissioner leaves his blaster behind. Please, give it to me.
Take it.
Thank you. You will be permitted to collect it when we leave. Now, please follow me.
He took me to a room that was too large and too high. It contained next to no furniture, 3 blanked-off windows, some incomprehensible music, and 1 spacer.
Come in, Mr. Bailey. Come in. Music off. I'm Dr. Han Fastoff, and I'm in charge of the murder investigation at this end. If I can help you in any way, I stand ready to do so.
You can help me by allowing Commissioner Enderby to join us by trimensional.
By all means. Daniil, please make the connection.
I was having trouble taking in this Fastoff. Damn it, he was all wrong. His hair was thinning, his face was flabby, and his ears were ridiculous.
The link is complete.
What's this about, Lige? Oh, good day, Dr. Fastoff. You're looking well.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Bailey.
Gentlemen, I believe I have solved the case.
What?
You mean you know who the murderer is?
No. I mean there's been no murder committed.
Bailey.
Commissioner, please. Plainclothesman, are you telling us that Dr. Sarton is still alive?
Yes, I am. And I can tell you where he is.
Fascinating. Where?
Right there.
My dear Mr. Bailey, that is a robot.
Is it? A robot that looks exactly like a man? Like the murdered man? A robot that can threaten to kill people if they so much as touch him? A robot that had to leave my apartment last night to go to the men's personal?
He did that?
I saw him. The door to the personal's in a direct line from mine.
I was not aware that you were awake, partner Elijah.
I bet you weren't. See, Commissioner, he doesn't deny it. I tell you, he's no more a robot than I am. What do you say, Dr. Sarton?
I am not Dr. Sarton. I went to the personal because I was looking for a focused beam projector.
What?
A listening device.
I know what it is.
Elijah's wife left the apartment last night, convinced that I was a man.
Damn it, you are...
She returned, knowing that I was a robot. It is logical to assume that my conversation with Elijah on the subject was overheard. The personal is the only accessible area within range.
Did you find anything?
No.
There you are, Mr. Bailey.
There I am, nothing. He's a man. Look at him, for God's sake.
But why, Mr. Bailey? Why should we go to these lengths if there's been no crime committed?
Because you wanted a murder. You want to provoke riots, perhaps even an assault on Spacetown. The perfect excuse to descend on us in force and occupy the cities of Earth.
Bailey, you're insane.
One moment, Commissioner. Daniil.
Yes, Dr. Fastoff?
Please be good enough to remove your shirt. Thank you. Now, Mr. Bailey. Realistic, I agree. Obviously, for our purposes, the resemblance had to be extremely good. But if I do this and this... As you see, the skin is quite artificial. The rib cage is of stainless steel, and if I open it... Perhaps you would care to examine Daniil's workings more closely. Yes, Mr. Bailey, do not be alarmed. Make no sudden movement.
What happened?
You collapsed.
Collapsed? But why?
I'm afraid I was the cause of your shock.
Yeah, but collapsed.
Do not be alarmed. This environment is quite alien to you. Your reaction was not that unexpected.
Where's the commissioner?
I encouraged him to break the connection. I assured him that we would take care of you.
Now, you've taken care of me very nicely. I haven't heard Enderby laugh like that for years. He'll bust me down to C1 for this.
No, partner Elijah. We are to continue the investigation.
What?
I insisted on it, and I believe Commissioner Enderby will agree to my request.
Request?
Daniil, give Mr. Bailey a drink. Now, plainclothesman, listen to me. By and large, I've met only one sort of Earthman, politicians.
Thank you.
They're useful to us, but they're still politicians. They tell us only what they think we want to hear.
No kidding.
But now you come here and boldly accuse us of tremendous crimes. I enjoyed that tremendously. It's an enormously hopeful development. You're clearly a man I can deal with, frankly.
Well?
Let me tell you about my people, Mr. Bailey. On our worlds, the air is pure and the food is fresh. Nobody is forced to undertake any labour that they do not wish to do. We enjoy unblemished health. Life is as near perfect as centuries of social and genetic control can make it.
But...
I'm impressed. Yes, there is a but. We are dying.
Dying?
Of stability and stagnation. I'm 163 years old, Mr. Bailey.
What?
And I can expect to live to at least double that. But luxury and longevity are insidious partners. Initiative, creativity, and the willingness to take risks, all of these are disappearing from the outer world.
That's incredible.
It is true, Elijah. In just a few more centuries, the Spacers will be no more.
Well, I don't think you'll get much sympathy from Earth.
We don't want your sympathy. That's not why we're here.
Then why are you here, huh? Why don't you just go away and die and leave us alone?
We cannot. You need us. You need our help.
Your help? We don't need any help from you.
I'm afraid you do, Mr. Bailey. For you see, your civilization is also dying.
I don't believe you.
It is true. You live and work under appalling conditions.
Now, just a minute
Your
here,
population is greater than that of all 50 outer worlds combined, and it continues to grow.
We get along.
Not for much longer. You eat synthesized food and breathe artificial air. Your general health is very poor and getting worse.
You are totally dependent on power sources that are practically exhausted.
Well, we'll find something new.
Your cities exist on a knife edge. All your customs and taboos and politenesses are just a thin veneer over a mass of primitive repression and violence. Your beloved cities are simply caves of steel.
That's ridiculous.
We do not think so.
So, what are you going to do, huh? Sell us food? Give us new power sources? Kill our children the way you kill your own, if they're anything less than perfect, huh?
You're right to be cynical. Our efforts so far have been totally unsuccessful.
What efforts, for goodness sake?
The introduction of robot labor, of course.
Is that your idea of help? Throwing men out of work?
Yes. We want to create a growing group of displaced and declassified people.
For God's sake, why?
Because it is exactly these Earth people who will colonize new planets.
New planets? You're insane.
Why not? It's happened in the past. What are the Spacers but the descendants of those original pioneers?
That was centuries ago. And you people put a stop to it, remember?
We control only 50 worlds. There are billions in the galaxy.
New planet. It'll never happen.
It must. The future of mankind itself depends on it.
I'm in this over my head. I wish you had a different partner.
I do not. The Commissioner spoke very highly of your loyalty and your abilities.
A fine mess I made of things so far. You said that not all the spacers think the way Fastolf does.
That is correct. Opposition to Spacetown and its aims is very powerful.
Do these anti-Earth people know about the murder?
They do. And they are already using it against us.
Well, what happens if we don't come up with the killer?
It is virtually certain that pressure of public opinion on the outer worlds would force us to leave Earth.
And without Spacetown, there is no hope for us. According to you.
It is true.
Then we better get on with it. It seems to be the perfect crime. No one from the city can get into Spacetown carrying a weapon.
And we know for a fact that no resident of Spacetown committed the crime.
That's definite?
All personnel were psychoprobed immediately after the crime was discovered.
Psychoprobed? Is that reliable?
Completely. I am a very delicate machine in that respect.
You? Are you telling me you can read my mind?
No.
Good.
All I can do is sense the basic drives and feelings. For example, I was able to say with absolute surety that Commissioner Enderby was not responsible for the murder.
You suspected the commissioner?
He was there close to the time the crime was committed. Logically, he was a suspect. But he is not capable of such violence.
So, what have we got left? Suicide? Seems unlikely. And anyway, what happened to the blaster? Could it have been a visiting spacer, one of the opposition, stirring things up?
There have been no ships for several weeks.
Well then?
There is only one approach open to us. We must pursue the theory that Earth's opposition to Spacetown and its aims is being fostered by an organized underground movement. We must find the medievalists.
I don't know. The whole thing sounds pretty...
The commissioner wants to see you, Lige.
Oh, thanks, Sammy.
The commissioner wants to see you, Lige.
Damn it, Joe. Will you shut up with that?
Bailey, come in.
Commissioner?
Well, that was a fairly giant-sized blooper you pulled with Fastolf.
It was. I admit it. I'm sorry.
Forget it.
Forget it?
Sure. He didn't seem to mind. They're so damned unpredictable. How's it going?
Bad. I want a two-man apartment for Daniel and me.
Problems at home?
The rumor's out that he's a robot, remember? If there's going to be trouble, I don't want my family to be in the middle of it.
There isn't going to be any trouble.
You weren't outside that store.
There isn't going to be any trouble. Lige, I've had people checking all morning. There isn't going to be any trouble because there isn't any rumor.
How are you getting on, Daniel?
I have been searching the records for information on known anti-robot agitators.
How many have you come up with?
Over 1 million.
I hope you're not planning on checking them all personally with your mind-reading act.
No, that would be impractical.
Daniel, can you eat?
I am nuclear-powered. I thought you were aware of that.
Of course I'm aware of it. What I want to know is, can you pretend to eat? You know, go through the motions. I'm hungry and I don't like eating alone.
Please vacate your table as soon as you have finished eating. Exits 101 through 217 are operational. Exits 218 and 219 are temporarily out of use.
Do you always eat here?
Sure. Section kitchens are the same all over the world. I had to go to Calcutta once on a case. I had lunch in a place exactly like this one. Don't you like it?
Do you?
Sure.
How do we obtain our food?
Hold your ID up to the table screen.
No free choice. What does that mean?
Just what it says. Oh, watch your hand. The plate comes up just there.
Whole yeast bread, mashed potatoes.
And Zymoville. Great.
The staff and administration of Section Kitchen 0586F hope that you are enjoying your food. Please vacate your table as soon as you have finished eating.
Elijah?
Yes?
I know how much importance you place on social customs and taboos.
It's vital. It's what the government calls the oil on the cogs of the city. So?
Is it considered rude to watch another man while he's eating?
Extremely. Why?
I count 8 people watching us closely. Very closely.
Well, it's crude behavior, but it doesn't necessarily mean a thing.
Perhaps. But is it coincidence that all 8 were in the crowd outside the store last night?
Are they close?
Not very. They're scattered.
Right. Finish your meal. Let me think. I looked around. I didn't see a single face I recognized, but I didn't have photo scanners for eyes and a positronic memory. All I saw was what I'd always seen, and this time I didn't like it. There were too many people in too small a space. I didn't want any trouble. Okay, Daniel, let's get out of here. Nice and slow.
All 8 are leaving too.
That's a surprise.
At least 5 of them are carrying concealed weapons.
So they mean business, whoever they are. Act natural. I think they'll wait till we're outside before they make their move.
Elijah?
Yes?
My programming does not cover this situation.
No? Why do you leave it to me? Riding the strips is like breathing. So natural you don't even know you're doing it. You don't think about it as you move across the different speeds, lean against the acceleration, drop your head as the wind builds up. Just as well. I had other things on my mind.
As long as we stay among crowds, we're safe. Are they still following?
Yes. We cannot ride the strips forever.
We're not going to. We're going to do the one thing that the city isn't designed for.
What is that?
The unexpected. We're going to break a few rules. Rule number 1. No running on the strips. The next strip's emptier. Come on.
Would you mind running? Go on,
Now. Run.
They are still following.
We're safe here for a bit.
Are you all right?
I feel great. I haven't done this for 30 years. It's a kid's game. Strip running. Okay, time for the next stage. Rule number 2. Changing from strip to strip is only allowed at the proper pace and in the proper direction. We're going to move directly sideways. You with me?
Yes, Elijah.
Then let's go. Police! Out of the way! Out of the way there! Police! You need 2 things to be a good strip runner. You need to know the city inside out, and you need guts. One false step on the faster strips, and you've got a broken leg, or worse. I thought about that as I led Daniel through every trick in the book. He handled it like he'd been doing it all his life. What can you see?
6 of the 8 are no longer in sight.
Good. In a few minutes, the westbound expressway crosses underneath the system. We're going to jump down onto one of its approach strips, okay?
Surely that is a very dangerous maneuver.
Yeah.
I may not allow you to come to any harm.
What? Listen, Daniel. If we don't try it, one of those jokers is liable to blast my head off my shoulders. How's that for harm?
Jumping is the less dangerous alternative. You are right.
Well, let's hope so. Come on. We worked our way sideways over the approach strips till we were right at the side. Our 2 shadows did exactly the same. The flyover's coming up. There's a side wall about 1.5 meters high. Then it's a clear drop straight down. Ready?
Ready.
Now! Ah! Daniel! Daniel!
Elijah, are you hurt?
Just winded. Help me up.
No.
What?
He has drawn his blaster. Down!
Gee, Hussifat.
I trust I did not injure you unduly.
Oh, I'm fine, thanks. Where are they?
They did not follow us down.
Then they'll be too far away to pick up the trail. We're safe.
Where are we?
Williamsburg, way out in the suburbs. We'll detour back through the power plant, then it's only a short way to the room. Let's go. We have to keep to the safe zones, but I suppose it doesn't matter to you.
Is it a question of radioactivity?
Yes.
Then it does matter to me. It would affect me much sooner than it would you.
Do you mean it would kill you?
I would need a new brain. Since no two are exactly alike, I would be, in a manner of speaking, dead.
I didn't know that.
Naturally, the weaknesses of such as myself are not stressed.
Then why are you telling me?
We are partners, Elijah. It is well that you know my limitations.
This way. The apartment the commissioner had fixed up for us was rough. 1 room, 2 beds, and a trash tube. And a view screen with no controls. When the government wanted you to watch, you watched. Well, I guess we can stand it. Hey, what are you up to?
I am getting rid of the food I ingested before it putrefies and I become an object of distaste. The sight may disturb you, Elijah. Please turn away.
I can take it.
Very well. I do not salivate or chew. This food is perfectly clean and edible.
Oh, that's all right, thanks. I'm not hungry. You just get rid of it. Trash tube in the corner. Well, I'm going to try and get some sleep. We'll have to leave here early tomorrow.
Why?
Well, at the moment, nobody outside of headquarters knows where we are, but they'll be looking. With luck, we can slip out before they know it.
Presumably, we can now be certain that some sort of organized underground movement does exist.
It's a step forward, at least. But how big is it? Who's behind it? And what's the tie-in with Sarton's murder?
To answer those questions will be our task for tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. Night, Daniel.
Good night. Partner Elijah.
What? Stay back and cover me. I'll open the door on 3. 1, 2. Get in here, you come on now.
Dad, take it easy.
Ben!
Did anyone see you in the corridor, Bentley?
No.
What the hell are you doing here?
I just came to see if you were okay.
Why shouldn't I be?
It was Mom. She made me come, Dad.
How did Jessie know where to find us?
We called up your office.
And they told you?
Sure. Were they supposed to?
Oh, God help us. Ben, you stay here with Danielle.
Where are you going?
Just along the corridor. You're spending the night here. I've got to call your mother.
Elijah?
What?
There is considerable danger.
Danger? What's going on?
It would be more logical to send Bentley. His life is less valuable than yours.
You cold-blooded bastard. Listen. An Earthman doesn't send his son into danger, no matter how logical it may be.
Let me go, Dad. This is great.
Shut up, Ben. Get ready for bed.
Dad!
Bed. I'll be back in a minute.
Elijah.
Now what?
Please take care.
Yeah. Right. What the devil's all this about, Jess?
Are you all right? Are you hurt?
Well, look at me. Obviously, I'm okay.
I'm really worried.
About what?
Your friend, you know.
What about him?
I told you last night there's gonna be trouble.
Oh, that's nonsense.
It isn't nonsense. They know he's a robot.
They?
Lige, you are not safe in the corridor. Get back.
Jessie,
Get back to the room. Goodbye.
I got back to the room, but I didn't sleep. I lay awake all night thinking. This business was going in directions I didn't want it to go.
Light. Light.
What? Next day, there had been no sign of a tail as we made our way back to headquarters. After I got Ben away, Dan Neal went back to the record files, and I went back to my thinking. I checked out some facts and put in an out-of-city call. If I was right, I was a lot closer to the killer than I thought.
Lige.
Yes, damn it, what is it?
Lige. The commissioner wants
to see me, right?
Right. Nice day.
Sit down, Lige. Sit down.
Commissioner, hey, you okay?
Where is he?
Daniil, down in records.
Right. Why did you call Washington, Lige?
Are you checking up on me?
The call was insulated. Who did you speak to?
Dr. Anthony Garrigal.
Oh, he's a roboticist, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Head of the Institute.
Oh, why speak to him?
Well, I was after some background information.
What kind of information?
Just general stuff.
The fewer people who know about this affair, the better.
I know my job, Commissioner.
I don't like this business. Any of it.
You think I do?
Are you getting anywhere?
Yeah. I think I am.
I have identified 3 of our 8 pursuers, partner Elijah. Here are the details.
Francis Clusar, age 35, employee at New York Yeast, arrested 2 years ago. Incitement to riot. Gerhard Paul, age 52, transport engineer.
I shall continue to search for the others.
This stuff is no use.
Surely it is. These individuals should be questioned.
There's no point.
Yesterday night you were anxious to pursue this organization. Why have you changed your mind?
I've decided that your organization, if it exists, has nothing to do with the killing.
That is not logical.
Damn your logic.
If the medievalists are not behind the crime, who then committed the murder?
You did.
That is not possible. The first law of robotics makes...
Don't give me that. You were constructed without the first law.
That cannot be done.
That's not what I've heard. It all adds up. That business with the crowd. I'll shoot any man who touches me.
A demonstration of strength was necessary.
Then there's opportunity. You can come and go freely in Spacetown. No questions asked.
Not carrying a weapon.
That had me fooled for a time. You were clever. And then you gave yourself away. That neat little system of yours for pretending to eat.
What about it?
That artificial stomach of yours. It's just big enough to take a blaster. And that's how you smuggled it in. Don't try anything.
That was an impressively fast draw, Elijah, for a human being. But if I were a robot which lacked the first law, I could have killed you before your hand ever reached your weapon.
Put your blaster on the table, Daniil. Nice and slow.
In truth, even to talk of harming a man causes me considerable distress.
Quiet. Let me think.
This theory of yours is born of desperation, partner Elijah. You do not even truly believe it yourself. What possible motive...
Shut up!
If you will examine my blaster...
What?
I think you will see that you are completely wrong.
Get away from the table. Against the wall.
Certainly. Look at it closely.
Fake. It's a damn fake.
Of course it is. If I had been given a genuine weapon, I might easily have accidentally harmed someone. That is unthinkable.
You switched it. You had another one, a real one, hidden somewhere.
No, Elijah, you are wrong. You know that you are wrong. It is my belief that something has occurred which has affected your thinking on this case. Do you wish to talk about it?
Keep your damn psycho probing to yourself.
Very well. Let us follow another line. Let us discuss your wife.
No. Leave Jessie out of this.
How did she find out that I was a robot?
Oh, not that again. The rumor was
There
all
is
over
no
the...
rumor. If there were, the city would be alive with unrest today.
What are you trying to say, huh?
What you yourself already suspect. That Jessie is a member of the secret anti-spacer organization.
Oh, she isn't. And we won't discuss it any further.
It is not like you, Elijah, to deny the facts in this way.
There isn't a single shred of proof
Last night, when you left our room, you told me that it is not the custom for a father to send his son into danger.
Right.
Is it then the custom for a mother to do so?
No, of course.
You see my point. She did not come herself to warn you, because she knew she would be recognized by other members of the organization. But Bentley, who is presumably unknown to them, would be in no danger.
Wait a minute.
Lodge! Daniel!
Jehoshaphat, not now.
What do you want, Sammy?
There is a lady here who is very upset and who wishes to see Lige. Her name is Jessie.
Bring her in.
Why'd you bring me down here? It's not safe.
All right, Jesse. We won't be disturbed here. Okay, Daniel, stop the car.
Oh, everything's gone wrong. Look, I gotta tell you.
Have you committed a crime, an actual crime?
Crime?
Jesse, please, just say yes or no. It'll be easier. Have you killed anyone?
What? No.
Have you stolen anything? Assaulted anyone? Falsified ration data? What?
Nothing like that. Lige, do we have to stay here?
We'll stay here till this is done with.
Jessie?
Yeah?
You told us you had something to say. What is it?
Yeah, yes. Lige, do you remember Liz Thornbow?
Who?
Elizabeth Thornbow. I first met her years ago.
What about her?
She was a medievalist, quite openly. She was always talking about how things were better in the old days before the city started. And she had books, too. She lent me one, The Shame of the Cities.
That book was banned.
Yes. She said that someday we'd break up the cities and get back to a proper life. No spaces, no robots, just us. Back to the soil, she used to say. It wasn't just her. There were lots of people who believed the same. There were meetings and things. I don't know what she said. Well, it made sense, Lige. It was right, and so...
And so you joined?
Well, not at once. I knew it would look bad for you, if anyone found out.
But?
Then we had that awful fight, you remember, about Jezebel.
Who is Jezebel?
I am.
Yeah, it's her real name. She doesn't like it and never uses it.
And after that, I went to Liz and I...
And joined the organization?
Yes. And I went to the meetings, and I've been going ever since.
And you never told me?
I'm sorry.
Being sorry won't help. I want to know about these meetings. Where are they held?
Down here.
In these tunnels?
Yes, that's
why...
The
police and emergency services use these tunnels. Were you never disturbed?
No, never.
How many people, Jessie?
60, 70. It was just a sort of local branch, but they were always boasting about how there were groups like ours in every city all over the world, and one day...
What exactly do you get up to, huh?
Well, there are speeches, lectures, and refreshments.
Jehoshaphat. If it was so harmless, why have you been in such a terrible state?
I thought they would hurt you. For heaven's sake, why don't you understand? I've explained everything.
No, you haven't. You've told me about some harmless little coffee circle. Did they ever do anything? Destroy robots? Start riots? Kill people?
Oh, nothing like that.
Well, then...
It began to change. They started saying that our time had come at last, and then the night you two came home together, they told us about the police bringing in a spacer robot, and I overheard someone saying that it was the perfect opportunity for a show of force. Smash the thing and kill the man, they said, and then they laughed.
All right, Jessie, all right. We get the picture.
I was scared. I was part of it.
Jessie, did any strangers come to the meetings?
Strangers?
Yeah, big shots from central headquarters, or whatever you called it.
Yeah, sometimes. But we'd never know their names. It was one of them I overheard, Lige,
Can you describe him?
It was a woman, about my age.
What was she like?
Just, ordinary.
For God's sake, what color was her hair?
Oh, darkish.
What else?
Well...
Come on, Jessie.
Well, she smelled.
She smelled?
Yeah, of yeast. It was on her clothes. You know how it clings?
Yeast? Daniel!
You are quite right, partner Elijah. One of our identified suspects is an employee at New York Yeast. Francis Cluzar.
So what we've got is an organization on two levels. The mass-level support groups and the ones who are really running the show.
Partner Elijah.
Yes?
I do not understand how the simple matter of a name could cause someone to act as Jesse did.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. Jezebel's a rare name. It belonged once to a woman with a very bad reputation. Jesse treasured that. It gave her life a little corner of wickedness.
Why should a law-abiding woman wish to feel wicked?
Well, that's human nature, Daniel. Anyway, I did a very stupid thing. I told Jesse that people always misunderstood the Bible story, and the original Jezebel wasn't a particularly bad woman at all. I was a fool. I made her desperately unhappy. I destroyed something that could never be replaced. We had a hell of a fight about it. She's never used her full name again, or even mentioned it.
What is the Bible?
Well, it's a sacred book.
Sacred?
God, sacred means looked up to, highly regarded. It gives codes of behavior.
Laws?
Higher than laws.
How can anything be higher than the law?
Well, let me quote you something from the Bible. A woman was caught committing adultery, and she was...
What is adultery?
It doesn't matter. It was a crime, okay? And she was brought before Jesus. He was a wise man. And the people said, "The law commands us to stone such offenders to death. What do you say we should do?" And Jesus said, "He that is without sin amongst you, let him cast the first stone." And the people all went away. Jesus said to the woman, "Has no one condemned you? Neither do I condemn you. Go now and sin no more." There's a human impulse known as mercy, a human act known as forgiveness.
The woman was guilty?
Yes, she was.
Then she should have been punished according to the law.
Francis Cluzar?
Who wants to know?
Police. Let's talk.
You talk. I've got nothing to say.
Night before last, there was a near riot in the Bronx. You were there.
Was I?
Last night, there was a near riot in Williamsburg.
And I suppose I was there too.
Damn right you were. I think you're an important official in an unregistered medievalist organization.
Thinking isn't evidence. Maybe you know that.
Maybe you'd prefer talking to my partner.
How do you do, Francis? Miss Cluzar?
You're being rude, Miss Cluzar. Are you too proud to shake hands with a policeman? Oh, I think Miss Cluzar's offended by something, Daniel. Show her there are no hard feelings, huh? Embrace her.
I will be glad to.
Damn you, don't touch me.
Do as I say, Daniel.
Keep that thing off me.
That's no way to speak. This man's my partner.
Man, the thing's a damn robot.
All right, Daniel, leave her alone. All right, lady. How did you know?
It's obvious. Anyone can tell.
Well, we'll leave that to a judge. Meanwhile, you're coming downtown. Oh, Daniel, step outside and get through to the commissioner. Tell him we're on our way.
Certainly, partner Elijah. Excuse me, Francis.
You bastard.
Yeah.
I want to talk to a lawyer.
You'll get your chance. But first, you'll talk to me.
I've got nothing to say to you.
I think you have. I want to know what makes you medievalists tick.
You want what?
Look, Cluzar, we know all about you and your organization. This is just for my own personal curiosity. What exactly do you people want?
Back to the soil. That's simple enough, isn't it?
Well, it's simple to say. But how's the soil going to support 80 billion people, huh?
Did I say overnight? Or in a year? Or 100 years? Step by step, Mr. Policeman, step by step. But let's get started. Let's get out into the fresh air.
Have you ever been out into the fresh air?
All right, so I'm ruined too. But the children aren't ruined. We have to get them out.
You're dreaming. It'll never work that way. Why not move forward?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about new soil, new planets. Move out. Colonize.
Colonize? And turn into more spacers?
No. Learn from the past you're so keen on. Build something better than them and better than us. Something new. With robot labor.
No robots.
Why not, for God's sake? Look, I'm not exactly in love with the damn things myself.
I hate them.
You people are all the same. You can't see past the surface, but you must. Look at this Daniel. He's taller than I am, stronger, faster, handsomer. He's got a better memory and he knows more facts, but he's a machine. He's no different from that view screen there. Not 2 hours ago, I accused him of killing someone. He didn't care. He didn't take offense. He can't. Where's his sense of ethics, or beauty, or love? Where's his free will? I could do what I like to him, insult him, hit him, destroy him if I want. We can't ever build a robot that will even be as good as a man, let alone better, not in anything that counts. Can't you see that? What is there to be afraid of?
Policeman turned philosopher. What do you know?
Partner Elijah.
What do you want, Daniel? Did you get the commissioner?
Eventually, but there is a certain amount of confusion at headquarters. A corpse has been discovered.
What? Who, for God's sake?
The messenger R. Sammy. Murder is suspected.
A corpse? A robot? Get your terms right, boy.
A robot with a completely deactivated brain, if you prefer.
Oh, yes, I prefer.
That's enough out of you.
Come here, robot.
Miss Cluzar? That was a dangerous action, Francis. You might easily have injured your hand. I am sorry if I've caused you any pain.
You shut up.
All right, all right. I just wanted to see for myself. What are you staring at, robot? What's it doing? I don't like this.
Daniel?
Call it off, for God's sake. Do something.
Thank you, Francis. That was most interesting.
Look, what is this? I've got my rights.
I believe I can now form a consistent whole from the available data.
Great. Then let's find out what the hell's going on at headquarters.
Good Lord, Bailey, where the devil have you been?
What's happening, Commissioner?
Joe Simpson found our Sammy sprawled on the floor in the records room. Completely deactivated.
How?
I got the pictures. Look at this.
There is no sign of a struggle.
And he doesn't look damaged.
Wait. I'll zoom in on his right hand. There.
What is that?
An alpha sprayer.
Yes. The damn thing wiped a whole stack of files before we got to it.
Not to mention our Sammy's brain. So it was murder or suicide.
What are you saying? Let's keep this in perspective. It's property damage, that's all. They'll want you two downstairs for statements. And I want a complete report on what you've been up to this afternoon.
He's in a hell of a state.
What is an alpha sprayer?
It's a small capsule that releases hard radiation in a controlled stream.
Where would the murderer obtain such a dangerous device?
God knows. They're only used in power plants. Jehoshaphat.
What is wrong?
Everything. Ask yourself about the motive for this. Who'd want to get rid of our Sammy?
I do not know.
No? Well, maybe it takes a human to see it. There's one person with a motive that glares out.
Who is this person, Elijah?
Me. My wife came here today. She was worried and panicky about something. An hour later, we arrest a medievalist big shot. The connection could easily come out. Jessie's playing at being a revolutionary was harmless, sure, but she was still a member.
But who could make the connection? No one spoke to Jessie but you and I.
And our Sammy. You saw the state she was in by the time you brought her down to us.
This is very flimsy reasoning.
It's the way they'll think, believe me. The murder was deliberately set up to throw suspicion on me. Why use an alpha sprayer? They're hard to get and easily traced. Oh, come on, Daniel, you're a detective. Where do you suppose that sprayer came from?
The Williamsburg power plant.
Right, where we just happened to be yesterday. It's a classic framing job.
But why should anyone want to frame you?
You can't investigate a murder from the city jail. If someone wants me out of the way, it means we're getting too close for comfort.
I cannot identify Dr. Sarton's killer from the information we have so far.
And neither can I. But we must be close. Very close. I looked at my watch. 21:45. I'd been on my feet since 5 in the morning, and my brain felt as useless as the dead robots. The only way to prove I wasn't responsible for that little bit of property damage was to find the real criminal. I was sure that whoever murdered Sarton had also finished off our Sammy. After a useless hour of going over everything, that was still the only thing I was sure of.
Partner Elijah?
I've got all the facts. I know I have. Why can't I see the pattern? Why can't I think it through? Do you know about declassification, Daniel? Do you know about conditions on the lower levels? Did you know the family of the convicted criminal lose all their status rights too?
I'm sorry, Elijah.
Thanks.
But I did not anticipate this. I may have acted in a way that will harm you.
What are you talking about?
Of course, the general good demanded that I do what I did.
What, for God's sake? What have you done?
You will have to clear yourself of the destruction of our Sammy by some other means than solving Dr. Sarton's murder.
Huh?
I have been in communication with Dr. Fastolf. As a result of what I told him, our people at Spacetown have decided to bring that investigation to an end. We are leaving Earth.
In heaven's name, why? If you care so much about our future, why abandon us now?
Because our project is concluded. We have achieved our aim. We know now that Earth will move towards colonizing the galaxy.
But that's ridiculous. Nothing's changed.
Yes, it has, though not in the way we anticipated. Dr. Sarton was quite right. We did not truly understand Earth people.
What do you mean?
We see now the approach to the problem was quite wrong. We have always regarded the medievalists as a force to be tracked down and destroyed.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Everything. It was you who showed us our error.
Me? How?
You spoke to Francis Cluzar, the medievalist leader. You spoke fervently, I judge. And Cluzar's brainwave patterns changed. Very subtly, but they changed.
You mean I convinced her that I was right? I don't believe you.
No. Conviction does not come that easily. But the changes indicated quite clearly that the medievalist mind is open to that sort of conviction. That was something that we would never have suspected.
Know thine enemy, Daniel.
They are the perfect raw material for our purpose, but we never realized it until now. We will institute a program of persuasion and education designed specifically to appeal to the romantic medievalist mind. Their goal will be turned from Earth itself to much wider horizons. And now that we know what must be done, we no longer need to maintain a base on Earth.
And you don't give a damn about finding Sarton's killer?
It is no longer necessary.
Necessary? Damn it to hell, Daniel. Don't you have any curiosity programmed into you at all? Don't you want to know?
I am programmed to extend my knowledge.
Oh, come on, then. Use that brain of yours. Show me you're better than poor old R. Sammy. Show me that a robot can do more than just fetch and carry for the commissioner.
I'm sorry. The investigation is ended as of today. Elijah?
I got it. The trigger I'd been looking for to snap all the other pieces into place. And now I knew the whole story. All I had to do was prove it, if my partner would let me. So, the project is over, is it? The case is closed as of today?
This is so.
As of today. But today isn't over yet. It's 23:48. There's still 12 minutes to midnight. Until midnight, the investigation continues. Those were your orders.
What you say is correct. Today is not yet over. I had not thought of that, Partner Elijah.
I was Partner Elijah again, for just under 12 minutes. If I was wrong, there wasn't going to be any second chance.
Lige, get in my office. Bring him.
The commissioner does not like me.
Yeah. Come on, partner. We're nearly there.
You were in the Williamsburg power plant yesterday.
Yes, I was. We both were. You've had my report.
The sprayer that was used on the robot came from there.
What are you saying?
Why was your wife here this afternoon?
Family business. Private family business.
I've been interrogating Francis Cluzar. She's given us certain information.
Mm-hmm. What kind of information?
She claims that a Jezebel Bailey is a member of an illegal medievalist organization dedicated to overthrowing the government by force.
She used that name, did she?
I heard her say it, Lige.
All right. My wife was a member of a harmless lunatic fringe organization. She never did anything but attend meetings and feel devilish about it.
It won't look that way to an inquiry board.
Are you suspending me?
Everyone here knows you didn't like our Sammy. Your wife was seen talking to him yesterday, and she was in tears. You obviously felt the robot was too dangerous to have around.
So, 18 hours beforehand, I steal an alpha sprayer. Am I being accused of clairvoyance, too?
That's a good point. I'll do my best for you.
Do you believe I did it, Commissioner?
I don't know what to think.
Then I'll tell you. This whole thing is a careful and elaborate frame.
You won't get any sympathy with that line.
Well, I'm not after sympathy. I'm after the truth. I'm being taken out of circulation to prevent me learning the facts of the Sarton murder. Unfortunately for my framing pal, it's too late for that.
What?
You heard me. I know who's framing me, and I know how Dr. Sarton was killed, and why. And I have 7 minutes to tell you everything. Catch the killer and end the investigation.
I don't want another stunt like yesterday's, Lige.
I was wrong yesterday.
And today?
Let's talk about Frances Clusar.
Go on.
You say she came right out and named Jezebel Bailey.
Right.
Well, that's a very funny thing. Jessie hasn't used that name for 20 years. Not once. I know that for a fact. And she joined the medievalists after she dropped it. I know that for sure, too.
What are you saying?
That Clusar couldn't possibly have used Jessie's full name. Hardly anybody knows it. Apart from me, I can only think of one other person. You.
You're off your head.
Am I? You were out of your office for 2 hours or more this morning. Where did you go?
Are you questioning me?
I'll answer for you, too. You went to the Williamsburg power plant.
Bailey, you're suspended. Give me your star.
Don't move, Commissioner.
Put that thing away.
Not till you've heard me out.
You'll get 20 years for this.
Partner Elijah, I cannot allow this. You must not harm another human being.
That's right. You keep between us.
I'm not going to harm him, Daniel. I'm just going to make sure he listens.
To the ravings of a lunatic?
Mr. Bailey is no lunatic, Commissioner. Please allow him to continue.
Dr. Fastolf.
What's the meaning of this?
Good evening, plainclothesman. I believe you may safely put away your blaster. It's causing Daniil considerable unease.
Who authorized this call?
I have been in communication with Dr. Fastolf since the beginning of this interview, Commissioner. I possess a self-contained subetheric transmitter.
And I'm most interested in what Mr. Bailey has to say. Please continue.
You were in the Williamsburg plant today. You stole the sprayer and gave it to R. Sammy. You ordered the robot to wipe out its own brain.
Why, for goodness sake? What's my motive for all this?
You wanted me off the case. And more important still, R. Sammy knew too much.
Knew too much? About what?
About how you murdered Dr. Sarton of Spacetown.
I'm afraid that is quite impossible, Mr. Bailey.
Is it?
Of course it is. You don't know what you're saying.
I have to agree, Partner Elijah. The Commissioner's brainwave analysis showed him to be completely incapable of murder.
How did Jessie find out that you're a robot, Daniel?
Obviously from the medievalists.
Right. But how did they find out? And so quickly. They were given the information by someone. How many people in New York knew about Daniil, Dr. Fastolf?
Only 2, yourself
and Commissioner Enderby.
Someone recognized him. He gave himself away.
Rubbish. You're a medievalist, and probably a very important one. It screams out. Your windows, your glasses. It's useful to have a commissioner of police in the ranks, I imagine. Who else would know just which tunnels are never used by the emergency services?
That doesn't connect him with the murder.
It's interesting how his moods changed through the investigation. When we were getting close to the truth, he was in despair. But you remember his reaction when I came out with that totally wrong solution? He laughed in my face.
That's your proof? What kind of a detective are you?
Daniel, what's the time?
23:57.
3 minutes left. Let's talk about how you did it, Commissioner.
Damn you, Bailey. When this is over...
Please be silent. Continue, plainclothesman.
Oh, it was clever. You had us all fooled. No one could enter Spacetown with a weapon, and no man on Earth is capable of walking across open country and getting in that way. No man. You spacers are so full of the benefits of an integrated human-robot society, but you can't see an example of it right under your noses. He used R. Sammy. Right, Commissioner? You gave him a blaster and ordered him to take it out of the city and across to Spacetown, where you could collect it. After the murder, you got rid of it the same way. Well?
Haven't you been listening? They psychoprobed me, for heaven's sakes. I couldn't have done it.
You couldn't have killed a man, but that wasn't the idea, was it? Time.
2358. I do not understand.
Then I'll spell it out. There's one thing the commissioner there hates and fears even more than spacers. Robots. Ever since we began this case, he's not been able to look you in the face, Daniel.
I have noticed this. I could not account for it.
Then I'll tell you why. He didn't intend to kill Dr. Sarton at all. He was after you, Daniel. You! He knew that Daniel was a prototype for an entirely new sort of robot. One that was central to your plans for saving Earth. Destroy him and the plans collapse. It would have rid us of Spacetown forever.
Well, Enderby, you did know of the Sarton project.
But Commissioner Enderby had met my designer on many occasions, partner Elijah. He had even seen us together. The resemblance between us is close, but not exact. How could he make such a mistake?
He told me the answer to that one himself when he assigned me to the case. He must have felt pretty secure back then.
What am I supposed to have told you?
Oh, forgotten, have you? You broke your glasses. I assumed it happened later, when you were told that the body had been found. But it didn't, did it? It was before the killing ever took place. You must have been nervous, and I've seen you when you're nervous. You take off your glasses and you wipe them. You did that then, but your hands were shaking and you dropped them. Maybe you stepped on them. Anyway, they were broken. And just then, the door opened, and a figure that looked like Dan Neal was facing you. You blasted him. Well? Well?
It was a mistake. A mistake, I tell you. I never meant. Never.
You have caused him some injury, partner Elijah.
He'll get over it. What's the time?
It is midnight exactly, Mr. Bailey. Please accept my congratulations.
I looked down at Julius Enderby's terrified face and thought about how a dream can become an obsession. And I wondered if the spacers really could sway the beliefs of 80 billion people the way they swayed mine. Commissioner, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Then listen. The spacers have more on their minds than your prosecution.
What? What do you mean?
Elijah means that we would value your help.
I don't understand.
You're a big wheel and the medieval is set up. Use your influence. Steer your people towards colonizing space. Back to the soil, but on new planets.
New planets?
It's what we want, Commissioner, and believe me, it's for your own good.
Do you understand? It's what they want more than anything. And God help me, it's what I want too now.
Elijah is quite right. Help us, and we will forget the past.
You're letting me go free?
In return for your complete cooperation.
Do you agree?
Yes, yes. But new planets. It's fantastic.
Talk to these two and you'll see the sense in it. I did. And in return, we'll forget everything that's been said here. Otherwise,
your threat is unnecessary. He will do it. And he is sincere about helping us.
You must teach me that trick of yours, Daniel.
I fear that is not practicable, friend Elijah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going home. I want to take up a natural existence again. Daniel, will you stay on Earth after the spacers leave?
I do not know. Why do you ask?
Well, I've come to, I'm too old and too settled to leave Earth. But there's Bentley. Perhaps someday you and Ben together...
Perhaps.
Training schools for immigrants will be established, Mr. Bailey. Your son and yourself will be welcomed, I'm sure.
Commissioner Enderby.
What do you want, Daniel?
I have been trying to understand a story Elijah told me earlier today. Perhaps I am beginning to. For it seems to me now that the destruction of evil is less desirable than the conversion of that evil into good.
What?
Go now and sin no more.
In The Caves of Steel by Isaac Asimov, dramatized by Bert Coules, Ed Bishop played Elijah Bailey, Sam Dastor, Daniil, Matt Zimmerman, Enderby, and Christopher Good, Fastolf. Beth Porter played Jessie, Ian Mickey, R. Sammy, Vincent Brimble, Simpson, Elizabeth Mansfield, Cloussard, Brian Miller, the shopkeeper, Boris Hunker, Ben, and Susan Sheridan, city announcer. Technical presentation was by Tim Sturgeon, Wilfredo Acosta, and Ian Harker, and The Caves of Steel was directed by Matthew Walters.